So we are going to jump into PJ Podcast number 4, and look who I have, some really amazing guests. As you can see, guys, right here, this is, do you know what? Somebody is here for the second time. Pisces is here for the second time, but everybody else, this is the first time they've been on the podcast. So give a warm welcome to everybody here. Obviously, Dawn, we got Danny, Ebonix as well, Twiggie, bottom left there, Soma, and of course, Pixie back again for the second time on the PJ podcast today. And we're all looking very cozy. We're all looking really sweet and warm. So happy. I was trying to figure out, should I go for a nudie or I got a new Gengar onesie, and I was like, do you know what? I could probably wear that, but I just realized it's flat pack still, and it would look very crinkly, so it wouldn't work very well. But what we're going to do to start off with, we are going to introduce ourselves, starting from left to right. Just tell me a bit about your channel and chat a bit about your channel, and how long you've been streaming for, what got into you, what sort of made you get into streaming, and yeah, well, go ahead. Dawn, you first.
Right, well, probably about 6 years now. Don't know how, time goes really fast. I play a lot of RPGs and MMOs, so Elder Scrolls Online, Guild Wars 2, just started Final Fantasy as well, which I'm loving. And yeah, all of my channel has a fantasy theme. I'm an elf, obviously elves are real. We don't dispute this fact, they exist, obviously. And yeah, how I kind of got started off with streaming is basically I loved playing games, and I didn't have any friends who played games, and I actually started off on YouTube, and then a viewer who later became a moderator on my Twitch channel said, have you ever heard of Twitch? Because I'd never heard of Twitch before. And so I tried that out, and yeah, I started streaming. I was studying games design. I studied games design for 3 years, and that's something I'm still really passionate about, and we talk about on stream. I bring into my streams. I love doing gamification and sort of themed events on my stream as well. But yeah, lots of MMOs, RPGs, anything fantasy you can always find me in.
I didn't know that, actually. I didn't know you did games as well.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't know that either. That's so cool.
That was a little secret.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so it makes sense that you've sort of got into this side of like content creation and just being able to sort of like go through games as well, because I suppose it's sort of a natural progression for you then.
Yeah, I think it kind of changes the way that you see games as well, and you appreciate them from a different perspective. And yeah, luckily when I finished my degree, streaming was going so well that I was like, I might try this full time, and somehow I'm still here many years later. So it worked out somehow.
Yay.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. I actually wish it was something that I went down into, so that's really, really cool. Like the fact that you know the in-betweens from the game, like say for example a bug happens, you're like, oh well, you know, that happens. You can explain it a bit better than I think the average person can, so that's quite nice. Twiggie, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I have been streaming for about 4.5 years. I kind of randomly stumbled on it. I've always done some kind of content creation since I was a kid. Like, I think the first thing that I did is I would go on Neopets and I would make custom like profiles for people and put that out there. And I've kind of done a little bit of everything. I've done vlogging, I've done vlogs, YouTube, and I've always played video games. So I kind of just, it was a natural evolution for me to go into streaming. And when I started doing it, I was unemployed. I was waiting for school to start. And so I figured, why not?
That makes sense.
That's how I got started.
Do you know what? I'm so happy you said Neopets, because every single podcast we've done so far, Neopets has actually been mentioned. Every single one. And it's just
Neopets
one of these things.
Is everything.
Everybody knows what Neopets is. As well, 90s kids, I think. Because I think we're all 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, I think last time we had somebody from 2000, I was like, oh my god, you're the only one.
Oh no, I don't think you feel really old when they say that, but it's really not. Like they're like in their 20s now, and I'm like,
yeah,
no, you're 2 years old. I'm sorry.
You should know about it just from the lore, though. I mean, there's a lot of lore surrounding it about like the creepy rooms and like, oh, if you go and touch this box and then go back into this other room, it takes you into a different dimension of the game and that kind of stuff. So.
There's more than
There's Neopets lore.
Yeah.
Of course there is.
Yeah,
I feel like
Neopets
I've
had
been
a
playing
huge
it.
lore.
I'm a
Nice.
nice kid, but I didn't play it
Yeah.
enough to know about secret dimension
Same.
boxes and weird rooms and stuff.
Just here for the cute stuff.
We got
I learned something already today.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, we should come back to that later.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
We've actually got some people in chat. I don't know if they're being serious, but they're like, what is Neopets? Neopets is a website that was done a long time ago that was basically you owned your own pets. And some pets were rarer than others. And it was like you had, you know, little clans and guilds that you joined and stuff. And you basically try to get more money. And there's little sort of raffles and wheels. It was like a whole sort of like, it was just a website, basically. It was a game website. Wasn't always reliable, but it was still a good thing. And it was probably like one of the, I don't know, maybe it was slightly like an MMO to a certain extent. I don't know what way you'd describe
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
It was an MMO, absolutely.
Like a really early one or really adaptation, but a website version of it. And yeah, it was quite cool what it was at the time, but it doesn't hold up now. But people still love it.
It had a lot of mini games. That was my favorite part, just
Yes.
playing the mini games and trying to get the high scores.
Oh yeah, all the little sort of the cloud one as well. That was quite cute. I remember
Oh
that.
yeah.
That's so sweet. Soma, do you want to go ahead?
Oh yeah.
Introduce yourself and show.
yeah. So I'm SomaGreen. I have been on Twitch since the beginning of time. I first heard about Twitch at the game store. Some of my friends were talking about it, and I was like, "What is this?" So I kind of looked into it, got my name, and started kind of experimenting around with it. It was kind of a little bit more of the Wild West back then, so they didn't have like categories so much like they do now. So I spent a lot of my time in IRL and doing ASMR before there was an ASMR category. And that's kind of how I grew on Twitch, was that. So my streams now during the week, I'm doing like meditation and ASMR. So I'm trying to put people to sleep. And then on the weekends, I do party streams. So like Thursday, we'll do Just Dance. And then Friday and Saturday, I do dance parties where I have like moving backgrounds and it looks like a live music video. And I have a customized playlist that I make each time, and there's themes. So that's what we do on the weekends. So I tend to be a little extra. I put a lot of effort into everything I do. I don't know if you guys could tell from, you know, I was going to wear my onesie, but then I was just like, oh, I woke up like this. So
I love the dramatics, babe.
Yeah,
I love the dramatics.
yeah, I love being theatery, and I got into Twitch because I was working at the time that I started it, but I eventually transitioned over because I, you know, kind of suffered a personal tragedy and I had no outlet for my art and I wasn't doing anything creatively. So I was like, you know, I had signed up for this platform and I'm like, well, let's play around with this. You know, at the time I had access to all the games that were coming out as they were coming out. So I was like, well, let's see what happens. And then now I'm just essentially like, I'm a kind of smaller streamer, but I am living my dream now. So.
Well, the thing is, right, I think it's like, it's been, as you said, it's a massive outlet to a lot of people as well, like streaming, but also even viewing. It's like a way, especially for COVID. I think COVID was very tough for everybody. In a way, they were all just like, okay, what do we do now? Like, where do we go? What do we do? And I think like even streaming provided that, like all different types of stream, because you do like a lot of Just Dance and stuff, and people just enjoyed that sort of side where, okay, you can't go out to, you know, a pub and dance, but you can suppose you can sort of like party at home, and it's fine, it's all good. Like, you know, there's always something to do. I think gaming definitely provides that in any type of game. But I've also noticed your background's completely green screened.
Oh yeah, I added this so it looked more cozy for this, and it wasn't just plain green. But yeah, no, I live in a complete green, like the whole room and the walls are all green. I paint it all green. So my set when I'm streaming on Twitch is completely virtual. There is no set. It's all just green screen.
Oh,
That's so cool. I love
Super
that.
cool.
that's a really good idea. It means you can change like the Just Dance to whatever you want at the time as well.
Usually with Just Dance, I'll play Just Dance behind me because it'll have really good backgrounds. But for my personal streams, I'll play different loops of, you know, just backgrounds that relate to whatever the stream theme is. So, and occasionally I'll have loops of myself dancing behind myself, and I like double myself.
Oh,
and
that's
I
cool.
bet that's really trippy.
Yeah.
I bet that looks
It's
really
really
cool.
crazy over here. Yeah, yeah.
That's a really
I'm
good idea.
still tonight if anybody wants to check me out, but I guess that's tomorrow morning for most of you, actually.
I think that would be.
So,
We when
Yeah.
what time do you?
It's 11 p.m. Eastern Standard, so that's like
4 a.m.
know,
That's
yeah.
4 a.m. for us. Yeah.
Oh my god.
We'll stay up, especially.
But I usually go until 5 a.m. So or sometimes even 7 if I'm being really crazy. So
Oh, wow.
sometimes people will wake up and like first thing in the morning they can, you know, sip their coffee and watch me dance around all crazy.
Miss, I need your stamina. Whatever you've got going on, I need that stamina in my life.
Yeah, same.
Because I will be KO by 11.
I gotta sign up with your Huel link because I do Huel. That's my breakfast every day. So
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah,
Get that referral. Okay, hashtag ad. Yes.
Oh my god, Huel is really good actually. Huel's really,
Yeah.
really good.
Banana Huel. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Chocolate one for me. When I get it,
Vanilla
Simon eats
vanilla,
most of it.
vanilla. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Pixie, you want to introduce your...
Yeah. Hi. I'm Pixie. I'm from the UK, and I remember the format everyone was going with is like, how did we start?
Yeah.
So I've always been into content creation since I was like young. I originally started on YouTube doing vlogs and Call of Duty. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty and Minecraft, and I was really into it for like a really long time, and then I kind of had like a bit of like, I wouldn't really call it a midlife crisis, but I would call it like a bit of like a spiritual awakening where I realized I was like I was agoraphobic. I didn't leave the house. I had zero social skills, life skills, and I was just avoiding learning that type of stuff by sitting at home playing games. So then I packed everything up, put it under the stairs, went and like lived a crazy life for about 3 years, completely tech free. And then I came back and I actually read tarot cards on stream. My main content is I read tarot cards. We talk about like mental health and like life, like how to set a boundary. Like who's teaching people how to set boundaries? You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
just regular life conversations that I feel like is necessary and needed for awkward gamers like myself.
Yeah,
And
definitely needed.
I kind of balance it out though now. Like I play video games, we chill, we chat, and I do like tarot, astrology, and just like live chats, really. And I guess the games that we play right now is like Stardew Valley is like so addicting. I never thought that an 8-bit farm sim would have me hooked, but it does, and I'm happy about it. And Cult of the Lamb is our like current games that we play. But yeah, I've dabbled in ASMR too. I like that, Soma. I like that you do ASMR. I like that. Yeah. It's good. It's good.
I love
But
it.
yeah.
Actually, I think I can't remember how we find each other, Pixies, because I've known you for a long time now. Probably somebody's
Yeah.
raid, but I think the tarot rating is very rare. I think on Twitch, really rare. It's cool.
I'm the only UK partnered tarot reader at the moment. It's very isolating sometimes, but it's like the thing is though, like I think a lot of people are into it once they get over like the stigmas and like the con type stigma that like happens around it. But it's very like introspective. I've converted many gamers into self-reflection. I'm very proud of that.
I love that. Can you tell me if my ex is sobbing over me?
Yeah, I could. That's a lot of what we do is like relationship dynamics, learning to like create like mental and sometimes psychic, like we're very into like that kind of thing. We're not like crazy like reptilian queen energy, but we're like, you know, like, oh, you know, like I keep thinking about my ex and I'm trying to get over them, and it's like, what do you do kind of thing. Like
Love
we're a bit
it.
weird, but yeah.
Good weird. Oh, weird is fun. Listen, no one is
I
boring.
like it.
A much needed space on Twitch, I think. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Would you like to? Actually, I have never been able to say your name properly. Ebonix.
So it's Ebonix.
Ebonix.
Ebonix, or Danny. But hello, my loves. Thank you so much for having me as well, Queenie. So I've been creating content as Ebonix for about 3 years on Twitch. So my history in content creation goes back to about 2015 in the Sims community. So has been a lifelong love of mine. And I played it on and off. Like I'd binge for 3 months, like nonstop, sickeningly so, and then never touch it for about another year or two. So in 2015, I started making custom content, so mods for The Sims, because I didn't actually see any content that could represent me in the game. It was very lackluster. There was no options for us. And so I kind of was like, okay, well, if it's not there, then can I make it myself? And yeah, so then I kind of taught myself. So it's really funny because I needed knee surgery. So that's the whole reason I even got back into playing The Sims again. So I was kind of in my bed like, okay, well, time for Sims since I've got nothing else to do. And yeah, I kind of just fell into it. So I taught myself how to 3D model. And that's when I started making like black hair. So I started making like braids and locks and curls and froze and sharing it with my community, because for me, it was really important for the other Simmers that I knew to be able to see themselves in the game. And so I started streaming because I realized that people kind of knew who Ebonix was, the CC creator, but I didn't have that connection with my community. So I wanted to actually have that, like, hey, like, it's more than just Sims. Like, hey, I want to vibe with you guys. You guys have been rocking with me. There's hundreds of thousands of downloads on my content, but I don't actually know any of you. So I want to chill. I want to be friends. Let's be friends. And so yeah, so then I started streaming in 2019. And yeah, built up the community really quickly because the people already knew who I was. So they just kind of like, they moved there. They was like, oh, you are live. Oh, you are in the flesh. It's great to actually meet you. And yeah, and then I was the first Black woman in the UK to be partnered as well in 2020, and became a Twitch ambassador 2021. Yeah. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and we play a lot on the channel. We used to play a lot of Sims, and then the Sims kept breaking. So then every 2 seconds there was an update. So I got very stressed, and now we play whatever. Currently, very, very obsessed with Disney's Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah,
like
Ebonix is like the queen of the Sims too, like notorious. Like people, like if you are into the Sims at all, you know who she is. So
That's
yeah,
so cool.
Her mods are like top tier, like, you know, doing it first. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, I believe I think I knew or followed you through that as well. Actually, I think it was Sims that shared you, and I was like, oh, that's really, really cool. They're awesome mods. What a great idea. Like, that's definitely needed. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. I'm gonna go follow and keep an eye and have a look at all the cool stuff that comes out of Sims, because I used to play it a long time ago. I haven't really played too much since, like, I don't know, I just kept going for FPS games, but honestly, The Sims is like something I think most of us grew up on. So then seeing all the modding and the cool stuff that people have been adding over the years, and the fact that it's grown so much is so cool to see. So it's really nice to actually get you on, because I think a lot of people are sort of wondering, like, okay, I can't see myself in that character. Why is that? And then actually being added into The Sims was a big move for a lot of people. And I've seen all the tweets. It's like, oh, that's what an amazing thing they put in, and a lot of games have followed since then. So it's really good. Really good.
Yeah, they did a really good job, because they also reached out for like consulting work on those like additional skin tones. So I worked with them on like adding those skin tones, making sure that they were doing the right things. They even down to like having the undertones, like the cool, neutral, and warm, like just so that we were covered. Would have loved for them to add a color wheel, which would have been ideal, but the game is far too old at this point for them to add a color wheel for it. But you know, we're making moves, even down to like baby hairs, simple things like that we talked about, and they you know, happily added in, which is really meaningful, you know.
So the next game may be a color wheel.
It better be. Yeah, I'm finding somebody.
The next one, definitely. Well, that sort of like leads everybody injunctions. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today as well. What we're sort of gonna pass around as the next subject. So I'm trying to. This is like the fourth one and I always have them structured a little bit, but this one's very open conversations. More than the last time. I think it was quite open the last time you were on Pixie, but we're trying to keep it more and more often. But we'll keep the topic and then we'll just go wherever we go with it. Also, the last half an hour, guys, everybody who's in chat, no matter whose stream you're from, there will be the last half an hour will be open to questions as long as they are appropriate before anybody says anything strange or weird. Has to be appropriate, okay? Just keep that in mind. I'm mostly speaking to my own chat. But yeah, because I know they're going to try and ask me some weird question about my hair. Is it a wig or whatever? No, it's not. So before they do anything, no. But yeah, guys, what's everybody most proud of your career? Now, this is going to be an interesting one because every time I've heard something different or unique on what everybody's done, but it's hard to think about on the spot. So like, I always just like, I've done so much over the years. I've been here 7 years on Twitch, and I feel like getting partnered was quite an achievement because I don't know if I was exactly the first Northern Irish person, but I do know I'm one of the ones back then that, like, I think from what I know, I am, bar the one YouTuber who just got given it just because he was a YouTuber and never bothered streaming. I would be the first, so I'm quite proud of that. But yeah, go ahead. Danny, do you want to go first this time?
Oh, sure. I guess on Twitch, I think one of the proudest moments is, you know, being one of the first Black women in the UK to be partnered. I think it's so important for representation, like on the platform where all day, every day we see FIFA on the front page. I will, as in, I never slap drag the front page so fast if I see FIFA on there first. And kind of following that, I also then like co-founded Black Twitch UK with my friend Kiki Cassie, and you know, being able to be at a level where I can start opening doors for others who essentially don't get the spotlight and the highlight and, you know, the visibility that this platform so obviously just lacks sometimes. Doing that has created a lot of visibility for a lot of Black gamers, and even like having Black History Month now in the UK on Twitch is something that we've been working on and doing things like that. So yeah, I'm super proud of kind of opening doors and helping bring everyone up because everyone deserves to eat.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
That is a very good point as well. The FIFA part. I agree.
I'm so triggered. At the minute I hear FIFA, I get so triggered.
You can just scroll through and it's like the same.
Nothing's cheat. It's the same game every year. Can we just
please?
We don't want to see anymore. All right, there must be a reason. They must think that there must be a lot of football heads on the internet. There's not. Just keep going. Most of them read newspapers. It's fine. Do you want to go ahead, Pixie? Tell us what you're most proud of.
Yeah, I can do. So because I was thinking about this because I was like, oh, like what am I proud of about my career? And I think the UK partnered tarot reader thing, I was like, yes, that's really cool. But also I think the proud moments in my career have been when I've been able to like do tarot cards for people that like I admire. So I had a musician reach out to me once who I adore, and they wanted like an astrology chart reading so that they could understand how to better create music and basically like tap into their muse and how do they help people with their music and how to like mentally focus and kind of adjust their attitude so that they can create things better. And I was just so happy because it was like, it was a really alternative like musician, but it was like he was my Britney Spears, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I've had like a few proud moments of just like getting to empower other creatives with something that's kind of like obscure and a little bit weird, but it's like, I don't know, it's trying to empower people who are already making like a difference and they're doing stuff out there. And I'm like, yeah, like they came to me for that support. And it was just really cool. It's just really a proud moment where somebody trusts you to guide them even though, you know, they're clearly making their own correct decisions because they've already got so far anyway. So yeah, I think that was my proud moment of like doing a reading for a musician, one of my favorite musicians. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really freaking cool. Especially somebody reaching out to you as well. That's really, really nice.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Soma, would you like to go ahead and tell me what you were most proud of?
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, I don't know. But I thought of something. So last year, I know a lot of people in the tech space. So last year when cryptocurrency was like, you know, the big thing, I had the creators of Litecoin on and I had Dogecoin developers on my podcast. But the biggest celebrity I've ever had on my podcast, Vitalik Buterin, was on one time. So for those of you who know who that is, yeah. And it was really funny because it's like, you know, he's kind of a big person in that space too. So it was fun because I had him on, and a lot of the interviews he does, they're always asking him just tech questions, and they always try to make him look like a robot whenever they're interviewing him. So I specifically asked him, like, a lot of people didn't even know what, like, you know, blockchain is or anything like that. So we kind of like went over like blockchain for dummies, but then also I'd asked him like just about like, you know, what do you like to do? What do you like to read? You know, like fun stuff.
Personal questions.
Exactly. So that was the biggest celebrity that I've ever had on my show.
That's so cool.
That's really cool. I didn't know you did podcasts as well. That's amazing.
Yeah, I spend some time in just chatting occasionally. It's only when I have like, you know, something specific that I'm doing, like that.
Yeah, I get you. I think ours is only once a month, so yeah, it has to be like specific or something just interesting at the time. I don't think it's like podcast is quite good and interesting if you can get, you know, different guests on and you know always have a different experience, but it is always hard when, you know, you're like, okay, nothing current has happened or nothing that you want to speak about as well. Because I feel like podcasts, it's nice to have podcasts, but it's very hard to try and keep them positive because sometimes there's so much going on in the world. You don't want to have the negative side of it. And you're like, okay, I want to avoid that. Like people are there to check out the podcast to be entertained, but also people to chill out. Because most people listen to podcasts like on their way home or to work or something. So they want to keep it positive, happy, and that's not always the case. Not always possible to do that every single time, I think.
Well, it's tricky with scheduling. It's tricky with scheduling sometimes, getting everybody all together all at once. So that's why I'm excited about like guest star, because this makes it so much easier for us to like all come in and go out. And I feel like that way you can kind of last minute bring people on instead of having to do as much pre-planning. So
yeah, that's true actually. I didn't even think about that, like actually, the last minute aspect.
Actually the best one so far, because it normally takes us about 10 minutes per person to set up, because we used to use a video. It takes forever, I have to get the right levels, but generally this was pretty, like, it took me a minute for every single person, like setting it up and like just making sure the level's fine. It was all good, really, really easy. So I've got to say, the good improvement. It's going to make it a lot easier to set up in future because the links stay the same as well.
Yeah, that's really good.
And it looks great on stream too, even just like having everyone's name on the bottom. I'm so triggered by the hours spent you trying to use Discord as well, like cropping everyone's face and then
moving the boxes to the right place.
God forbid somebody drops out of the call and like half of my eye is in Kelsey's box.
It's just all shit. Yeah. It's like, wait, what the hell? And Discord lags as well so much. Like the connection issues just randomly, like an hour in, it's like, oh wait, oh no, what's going on?
Oh my
God,
God,
it's really stable too.
And you get the good video quality.
Guest star is so easy as a guest too. You just click a button and I'm done.
Right.
Here I am. Hello.
Agreed. It was a lot easier to set up this time, I think. The last video requires like a link and then you have to put in a code and everything and you're like, oh, so it's a nightmare. Yeah. But the good, I think obviously this is going to take a bit of time, I think everybody to get used to, but when it gets fully rolled out, it's going to be really good. So
Oh yeah. I've got I started doing like an astrology podcast for a little bit, but I'm so lazy and last minute. So now I'm like, oh, if this comes out, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be using that. Yes.
So, Twiggie, What are you most proud of? Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually got a bit nervous when I saw that question, because I used to have one very clear answer to that, and then that kind of just all fell apart earlier this year, which was really difficult for me to deal with. But I used to run a stream team who collectively raised over $160,000 for charity.
Hey, well done.
Thank you.
Amazing.
There's so much money that mostly went to mental health related charities, which is very important to me. I'm an anxiety sufferer, always have been. And so like that both helped other people, but also myself just be a little bit more open about it. And we got so much feedback from people who used it as inspiration to improve themselves and get help, and like just it had such a good positive impact. And I am immensely proud of that, despite everything that happened this year. And I also just wanted to point out just a personal proud thing for me. I am painfully shy. I struggle talking to people. Even like now, I can hear my voice trembling because I'm just nervous talking to you guys. But streaming has been such a massive help for me in that, in terms of just like getting a little bit of confidence and being able to talk to people, hang out, do multiplayer stuff, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm really proud of my own personal progress as well, honestly.
You should be.
Oh, Twiggie.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should be proud. You should be
Thank
proud because
you.
you honestly, you're doing so well. And anytime I've been in your stream as well, it's always been very welcoming. So you should be proud, you know.
I appreciate
you
that.
wouldn't
Thank you.
honestly, you would not know that you were a shy person because like you make everybody feel welcome. So
That's kind of it.
Yeah.
I thank you.
I don't think people give streamers enough credit for the fact that every time we go on cam, we're putting ourselves out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time, like I'm always having so much fun in my stream and stuff, but I'm like freaking out and doing my regular like before I start stuff. you know?
Yeah. Getting over anxiety and like any kind of mental health issues in order to stream. I think sometimes there's not a lot of representation of like anxious or like mentally ill people streaming because it's so hard to stream with like mental illnesses or like anxiety. And I really relate, Twiggie, like with the anxiety thing. Like I've gotten past like quite a bit of it, but even before stream I was like like oh no.
Same.
But I think when you kind of like I don't know, I think you just like kind of warm up to it after a bit. But it's it's good to have that representation too, because there's so many people that I like that, especially with Twitch. Like, is a reason why we don't leave our house, you know?
Honestly, I know so many streamers with anxiety. I think I know more streamers who have anxiety than who don't have anxiety. I think maybe a part of, you know, kind of finding this platform, we get to be with other people who love the same things that we do. And it's just so much easier to connect with people and feel like you belong somewhere like Twitch.
Yeah.
I also
And it
think a big
doesn't
part of it is that like it's on your terms. If you're streaming or if you're in chat, it's on your terms. You can end, you can leave whenever you need to, and that's a huge comfort for me at least.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can normalize it, because I think I talk really openly about mental health as well. And again, anxiety, depression, just being a woman in general is hard work. And then I had like endometriosis as well. So that has a kind of knock-on effect in how I feel in the day, or just how I feel in general.
oh, sorry,
And
explain
so-
that. I don't know that. What is that? Hope you don't mind me asking.
Endometriosis. No, you're fine. Endometriosis is a condition that affects your kind of ovaries and your womb, and so it's like having a constant period but times 50, and it can sometimes
50.
and then it just so everyone, there's not a lot of research into it, and everyone presents kind of differently, but they have kind of like key signs. So essentially the tissue that would build up in your what is this? My brain's farting.
In your uterus.
In your
you.
the thing, the you thing. Yes, uterus. So the lining that builds up in your uterus essentially lines outside of your uterus, and then that is what can cause the pain. It can cause scarring. It's like it's hell. It can be really hell. And so when I'm having a really bad time with that, it can't happen. The streams are just, and it's sometimes I'll be in the middle of a stream and then it will pop up and I'm like, all right, child, we gotta go. And then that has an effect on mental health, but my community understand that and they're just like, Danny, it's cool. You go do what you need to do. Go do what you need to do. Like, go chill, go relax. And I think that's the beauty of having, when you're quite transparent with your community about, you know, what it is that you're going through, whether it's a physical need or a mental health need, like as long you've built a community that is respectful of your needs and respectful of what you're going through, but also you respect what they're going through also, you know, that's why we become family. We are just like a little family.
I love
we all
that.
love each other.
That's so nice. I think a lot of people like involuntarily disrespect their own needs to kind of like fit in and do what they think people want of them. So
yeah,
I imagine that like by you respecting your needs, like it kind of models that for other people too, to like say like, this is acceptable. I'm allowed to go and take care of my needs, because I think so many people like repress and disrespect and maybe are completely disconnected from their own needs until it's like really bad
breaking point.
Yeah.
And if I try to, they yell at me, so that, you know, they'll be like, now get your ass, get out.
Like, thanks. Oh, God damn it.
Yes, self-care day.
Right. Oh, it's so nice though.
That is really nice. I think there is obviously, there's good and bad sides of everything, and I think Twitch does have a lovely side, especially like
it really does.
It
really does.
Like a lot of people do cure, and it is a support network. Obviously, none of us are therapists. Like that's just it. There's obviously like a line, of course, but I think we do sort of look after each other in a sort of strange dystopian sort of way, where it's like, you know, just checking in on you, making sure you're okay. Like I've had a lot of people who, you know, my community and mods check in on, like they'll notice if that person isn't there and they'll be like, okay, where are you? You know, are you okay? This type of thing. And it's actually really, it's sweet how we are all like, in a way, we're sort of like a friendship type of group. Whether, you know, obviously maybe we can't see those people as they can see us, but there's still a connection there, and it's definitely quite close, more closer than I think a lot of people realize. And then you get to meet these people in real life at events, and you're like, oh my god, we finally get to see you. It is like very wholesome, I think, and it's definitely, I think gaming doesn't really get that good of a light, or gaming and streaming in general doesn't always get the best light for the media.
It doesn't, does it?
It's just weird, but it's just I don't think they understand it. And it is.
I don't think they understand it either. I think a lot of us, like the people who end up on Twitch, are people who like usually introverts or anxious people, or just somehow can't kind of like go into regular mainstream life. Either it like drains them, or they just can't connect with it. And then I love that streaming, like sometimes people give flack to parasocial relationships, but I think sometimes like that's kind of what people with like ADHD and introversion and anxiety need. We need that permission to be able to come and go as we please, without like having to announce it or like deal with the consequences of that. We basically could just, you know, we get to experience all of the chemicals as well of a friendship, like all of that feeling like we belong and connected, without actually having to do all the mainstream requirements of what it actually apparently means to like maintain an actual friendship. And I'm kind of down with it, I'll be honest. Like
Pixie, I feel seen. I feel seen. You're with me on main.
I don't know if you guys have had it where like sometimes you literally like ditch IRL like social plans. It's like, I just want to stream. I'm got all that.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm good.
Yes.
I've created a completely separate like fantasy world on my stream. So I'm living on a spaceship, and you know, like Froggy, this plush behind me, that's whose spaceship it is, and he has his own channel and everything. And I have like, you know, all these other characters that I do all of them. And for my stream, I purposely try to never talk about anything that's happening in reality, especially the last couple of years. I was a big fan of Cabaret, the musical, growing up. And in the beginning, the guy is like, leave your troubles outside. We don't have any troubles here. Here, the orchestra is beautiful, the froggies are beautiful, and the girls are beautiful. I might have changed that slightly. But like that's kind of the idea of my stream is well, especially for theater, for me it was like an escape. So it's like, you know, I get to go and spend that time and these people get to join me in some like alternate reality.
Yeah.
You know? Forget about all our troubles, forget about our worries, forget that reality exists, and take a moment and just like enjoy ourselves, you know?
Yeah. I love that. Oh, we're going to see you now. Like, let's go. I want to go on the frog spaceship.
I resonate with it. I was like, you know, I want to hop on a spaceship. That's one thing I want 100%. Like, I'm tuning out live. I'll catch y'all in space.
Streamer's got you covered for space vibes. I'm over here for fantasy vibes. I'm not like full role play, but you know, like I just happen to be an elf, and there's some silliness that goes on. I'm 21,006, by the way. Ignore that comment about being born in the 90s earlier. Which is very silly and everything. So yeah, I think it just adds an extra layer to stream where you can kind of give yourself permission to be a bit more weird and silly and just really get into it.
Absolutely.
Agreed. Oh, also, yes, actually, Dawn, go ahead about... This is very weird, the cameras, but where I am, I have to get used to this. It's sort of like mirrored, but yes, yeah, Dawn, go ahead. What are you most proud of from your career of being a content creator?
Well, I really resonated with what Twiggie was saying, because when I thought about this and I started thinking about it, I've done some amazing things. I've been able to work with some companies I really admire, like becoming an Elder Scrolls Online partner, and Guild Wars 2 partner was amazing and all of that. But I think one main thing for me was overcoming shyness. And I don't think shyness in a way that I was very inward and I didn't want to talk to people or spend time with people, but being kind of afraid to be yourself. I used to have a bit of a speech impediment as well, and I used to mumble quite a lot or stutter. And first starting YouTube, I remember setting up the camera and going to record something and just redoing a take. Like I couldn't say a whole sentence in a row. And it was so funny to me that I ended up as a full-time Twitch streamer, because I had a viewer at the time who was like, oh, have you heard of Twitch? And I was like, oh, that's an esports thing, right? Like you have to play like Dota and League of Legends or COD or whatever. And
FIFA.
Yeah. Oh. FIFA. I looked into it and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I can form a sentence live and like string together words live. And I tried it, and thankfully I did, because I never went back. But it's still very weird to me that people come into my stream and say, oh, I really like your voice. And weirdly, one of the most commonly asked things on my stream is, do you voice act in any games? Have you done voice acting? And I literally, every time someone says that, I nearly have a little cry, because it used to be that I just couldn't talk properly. And so the fact that people are saying, oh, I really love listening to your voice, like I could listen to you read the yellow pages, like that means so much to me. And I think being unashamedly you and not being afraid to be a bit out there, because being a bit weird and being a bit alternative is what works on Twitch, because you stand out and you build a community of people who love things that you love as well. And being able to kind of talk to people who are into the same things that you're into is really empowering, I think, if you're someone who's a bit shyer or a bit more introverted. So yeah, I think the internet is a very loud place in general. And it's just kind of assumed that the people who shout the loudest do the best, or the people who shout the loudest get noticed. But I really firmly believe that there is space on the internet for quieter voices. And it's funny because I raided into a friend recently, and she described me as she was shouting me out as quietly charismatic. And I was like, I'm going to use that. Like, I'm taking that. Like, that's my thing now. But just being able to not be loud, not be kind of obtuse, but be able to make fun, engaging content. I think like that is something I'm proud of, that I've kind of come out of my shell a bit more. And yeah, other things, really cool to like have a community that still supports me after many, many years. I run a gamified event called War of the Wisps, which is probably one of the things that I'm proudest of that I do. It's kind of like a house war combined with D&D, and everyone has their own favorite alliance that they root for, and they really care about it. Like seeing my community get into that, and also working with some big companies for that event has been amazing, and meant I get to kind of flex my games design muscles after a few years of not doing games design. So just doing like different gamified events with, you know, widgets and cookie stuff going on, I always find really fun.
It's pretty cool. That's really cool. Also, I would have never have guessed about the sort of the busy stutter. Like you don't.
Yeah.
There's no like. If you asked me like, would you have ever had that? I'd be like, no. What are you talking about? Because I do feel like you've got one of these voices you'd find on Audible, where you'd be reading a full book. You'd be like, oh, this is great. Except there's not a lot of Audible.
Like, Dawn, I actually followed you on Twitch like 3 years ago, and I stuck around because of your voice. It's just, I love listening to it and just keeping your stream up. So,
oh, thank you so much. It's just so strange to me because I've always hated my voice, and it's always been like my main thing of like, oh, I hate that. Why can't I talk properly? So having people say that is just like, oh, yes, life dream. Let's go.
Oh.
Did you know that it's natural for you to hate the sound of your own voice? All people do. It's something that's like built into us to prevent us from being with our relatives.
Oh,
I didn't know that was the reason.
Prevent us from being with ourselves or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was
don't know
definitely
why.
on that. It's like, can I
That's from
fall in
liking
love with
yourself.
myself? I'm
I'm confident to know though, because I don't like the sound of my voice either. Yeah.
But like when you first start listening to your voice, you're naturally gonna hate it. You're supposed to hate it. But like you eventually you get over it and you just get used to it. So you have to put yourself into that space though. You're not like automatically. Well, some people are.
Well, I bet people would like stop at the first hurdle too, though. Like they'd listen back to their own voice, but like, no, I can't stand this. Right. I'm not gonna create something with my voice now because I can't get over that hurdle. So knowing it's a hurdle in the first place, I think it's good because some people might go into it having no idea.
I do you know what, my accent is very strange because it's a Northern Irish accent. Obviously that's a bit, out there for some people because like Northern Ireland's tiny. And so a lot of people come in, they're like, I don't understand where you're from. You Scottish? You Irish? What is this? Is this accent? Like, what even are you? Like, so some people come in, I've been called Canadian, Australian, like everything. I've been like, how are you getting Canadian? I don't know. But they get weird accents. But I find over the years that I've had to learn to be very careful with certain words because they sound like different things to US people, including like, so for example, women's underwear. What it's known as.
Oh yeah.
I can't say it because my accent comes out with something else. And I found that out the hard way on Twitch because somebody had that as their name in PUBG and I was doing like a shoutcasting tournament for it. And I said it and somebody clipped it and I was like, you little shit, I swear to God, I did not say that. And it was obvious I was reading out the name and he's like, nah. I had to ban the guy in the end, but I was like, bro, don't do that. Don't be at that. My accent's pretty tough. But I think
you
it's
have to DM us the word, please. I need to know.
I think you'll. This.
I mean, we can say it safely.
Yeah. Yeah. Women's underwear. I can't say. It's not the only thing I can't say. It. The chocolate bar either, because it sounds like it. It's just how
Snickers.
Yeah, I can't say that. It's because of the anything with like myrrh, like the thing you look into, myrrh, her is the exact same in my accent.
Oh no.
So one pair of purrs per person sound the exact same, and I've learned.
What did you just say?
One pair of purrs per person. There's no like, like purr is like, I think English people say pear.
Pear, darling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
pear.
you. Find out the hard way that I can't say anything with ers in it. Anything like that, it's not a good idea. It just sounds so weird.
Of pairs per pair. Wow, that's what you were saying.
Yeah. One pair of purrs per person.
I think you might need to type that one out. I'm gonna be honest. We should all give it a go.
Yes. I love this.
There is one that the US do. There's a place in the US. Is it Boston? I think it's Boston. They have a similar issue to the Northern Irish. So Aaron earned and Aaron earn. No, okay.
Aaron who?
No, I'll say it. I'll type it in right in our group chat. Oh fuck! How do you say this? Oh my god, it's gonna be hard to type. I can't even type it. It's
earn.
There. That. Say that. Say that.
Aaron earned and Iron earn.
Aaron earned and Iron earn.
Aaron earned and Iron earn.
An iron earn.
Aaron earned and Iron earn.
Aaron earned and Iron earn.
Aaron earned an iron urn.
It's the same for some reason. It's the same for us as it is for some place in Boston. I think they've got like a massive Irish population or something.
That is so cool.
So, it's
Accents
so
are
weird.
something else, man. Accents are wild. How long did it take you guys to like not cringe at the sound of your own voice watching back your streams? Because you obviously have to do quality control. So you have like you watch back your stream and you're just like, oh.
This is where I get exposed, where I don't do quality control and don't watch my own voice back. Like I literally don't. I'm like, I'll just someone else can tell me.
Oh no! What about clips? Like if someone drops a clip in your chat as well, and you just watch it back.
To be fair, like I think it's taken me about like a year and a half, like because I record stuff, and I'm a lot better when I record stuff, but sometimes live content can still catch me off where I'm like, oh no. But I think it's taken me about a good like 2.5 years, but I notice as well, like I speak like there's some parts of my voice that I like when I'm in different moods. Like if I'm like energetic and engaging, I'm like, yeah, like I can listen to this, but it's other times I'm like, oh, like it hits a bit differently, and I'm like, oh, I don't really like that. But I think I'm still ironing that one out. Yeah.
I think it takes time. Like you just gotta sort of phase it out a little bit. Like I think my biggest issue with hearing myself is that I feel like I'm very monotone. So I try and sit there and I'm like, why haven't I emphasized that word? Or I'll emphasize the wrong word in the sentence and I'll just be so angry at myself when I'm looking back and I'm like, why did I emphasize that word in the sentence? It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense why I've done that. I think that's my biggest pet peeve, just watching myself back. Other than that, I can sort of like ignore my voice to a certain extent. I can hear what I'm saying, but I don't actually acknowledge it's me. But it's the weird little things in the clips. I'm like, why didn't I emphasize that? Or I'll say something like a weird word, and then I'll be like, oh yes, I just realized, and it's no context to anything. It's like, say for example, wanking or something like that. Somebody said that in chat, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and that's the type of clips that I'll get. And I'll look at it and be like, why did I do that? Why did I do that?
Quality control. Like, let me get feedback here of like, yeah, like things you can do to like be a better entertainer.
When I first started doing my backgrounds, I had the graphics up too high, so I was like totally pixelated, and I didn't notice for like the first 2 weeks because I wasn't like watching the whole stream back. And then I was like, oh, why did no one mention this to me?
Right.
So
my chat, you're meant to be my quality control. You're meant to tell me my wig is tilted. You're meant to tell me if my mic sounds funny. You're meant to tell me if I've got one eyelash tilted up higher than the left. Like you're meant to tell me these things because we are in this together.
Or like part of your overlay is covering something really important in the game and no one mentions it for an entire stream, and you're like, why did no one tell me?
Oh no.
Yeah. And we've all been muted.
Oh
yeah. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah. Right. It's true. It's true. It's so true.
This is definitely a thing. I have just a follow thing where it has like a follow emote that's just muted, and I find out they just use it to troll. So when I'm actually ever muted, it's never used, and I'm like, that emote is there for a reason, and you don't use it for that. So
I had a raid once. I don't know if you guys know Call Me Kevin on Twitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he gave me a raid once, and his troll message was like, you're muted, and I was really new to stream. Like I was new to streaming on Twitch, but I'd known him from YouTube, and I was like so anxious, and I was like, wait what? But if you ever want to troll people, I just have a raid message say you're muted. And I was like,
that is so chaotic. Let me change my raid message now. I'm gonna add like an additional
I try to be really mindful of my raid messages after that, because I was like, that's kind of like, that could have been traumatic, but that was really anxiety inducing.
I have like 50 people coming in like, you're muted, huh?
I'm like, what? I laughed it off though. I nervously laughed it off.
I'm sorry on behalf of all Irish people for Kevin. All right, sorry about that. It sounds very right for him.
It would have been worse if I didn't know the person, because then I would have been like more concerned, maybe a little bit more mad. But because I knew them, I was like, okay, haha.
Funny.
You got me. Basically. We've do you know what I think the biggest thing that we did, we rated a somebody who had never ever been really on Twitch. He was a YouTuber, similar size to us, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's in the same category as playing the game, let's go and raid this guy, seems really nice. Raided, he banned my whole chat because he didn't know what raid were. He doesn't know what a raid was.
no.
So he banned everybody, and his mod told him and says raid's a good thing, and he was like, oh. And he sort of brushed it off like that. He unbanned everybody, but he brushed it all off. I was like, for God's sake.
Oh no.
What's just happened? But that's a thing with YouTubers. They when they come on to Twitch, they haven't a clue what raids are. So that's a good minefield.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like we should do a round circle share of like worst raid experiences, because it came to mind that I remember one of my first raids I did was an American guy, and he'd done this really cool like weight loss journey, and I was like, this is really cool, let's go support this guy. And then he proceeded to start like playing around with all of this like loose skin, and then he started, one of my mods, she's black, and he was like, oh, are you going to be my ebony princess? And I was like, oh no, we've raided a weirdo.
Help.
And he went on to my channel and started rating me out of 10 and watching my VODs, and I was just like, oh my God. And I just went to my Discord server, I was like, guys, I'm sorry. Let's get out of here. Let's leave this. It was so bad.
That's the danger, though, isn't it? Raiding someone new or like someone that you don't know.
Yeah,
you want to
definitely learn from that one.
Right?
I don't raid random people now that I don't watch for like more. Even though I did check them out for a bit, I was like, oh, they seem cool, but then their whole demeanor changed when it was like, okay, it's my time to shine.
Yeah, and they surely did not.
Yeah, it was so weird.
I think probably not my worst raid, but I used to allow raid suggestions, and it was like the worst thing ever. I had like a week of like bad raids because I listened to like, you know, some people chat, no offense to them, but it was just the worst raids. It was like people who were, you know, they should appreciate the raid type of thing, and you know, they've been at least on for a couple months, and I was raiding all these people, and they just were like, yeah, thanks for the raid, and this continued on, ignored the chat, and I was like, oh, bro, what are you doing? What are you supposed to be here as a job? So I went and had a look at it. Like, the worst one was this guy who was playing what do you call it, truck simulator, Euro truck simulator.
Is that like,
and he,
all right, bye.
Exactly, he literally just ignored everything. And I went and read his tiles. He's like, full-time content creator. It's like, no, you're not. Don't bother. Like, at this point, you're completely ignoring the chat, and you do not care. You do not care about whatever's happened here. And then at the end of the stream, I was like, okay, he's gonna raid somebody, because I've watched him for a while now. Didn't raid anybody. Just ended the stream, and I was like, that's my biggest pet peeve. So I was like, nope, not raiding that guy again. He's off my list. That's it. And then I just stopped doing it, because my only rule is when I raid somebody, I feel like Twitch is a very delicate ecosystem. And if you don't raid other people, you know, you're basically suffering Twitch in the long run. Like, you should raid somebody else. Obviously, if you don't have time, you're ending up early, or you just don't have anybody to raid, that happens. Like, but you know, I'm one of these firm believers where, like, right, I raid somebody, I expect them to raid the next person, especially if it's a massive boost, because then that boost on helps somebody else, especially if they're doing sponsors or something. You know, I'm like, okay, it's even better, because then that person's, you know, getting that boost, and they can get more from it, you know, in future. And that was my biggest pet peeve. And after that, pay it forward, as somebody said in chat. It's a big pay it forward, and I hate when people don't do that. And that is instantly never again. They will never see me raid them again after that if I find out they don't. I suppose that's just like me as a personal, I think, issue. But when I first started, I always wanted to, you know, raid others, and a lot of people helped me out with raids, and I was like, that's the way to be. That is exactly how to go on Twitch, is that, right, you've been helped, you help the next person, and help the next person, and so on and so forth, and you'll all eventually grow. Might take a long time that way, but it's sort of a good, I think, mindset to be, especially when you're like smaller, you know.
Absolutely. And don't you love, like, especially when community members who, you know, have been come to your stream and then they they raid into someone else's stream, and then they become like a regular in their stream as well, and then you all just start connecting with each other, and then they also then start happening to stream, like they find the courage or the confidence or the desire to want to stream, and then they've already got a community to back them because they've been not toxic and they've been a great community member, and you know, they've already kind of built themselves up because of that, paying it forward and, you know, moving through the ecosystem of positivity and great vibes.
Yeah, I think it's the way, like, the good streamers that I watch and hang out with, it all kind of like follows that, like, that thing. And I love it when, like, community members, like, when they merge and mix and share and, like, they create their own little friend groups. It's like, it's so good. It's so wholesome.
It's the nicest thing to watch. And I think the point where I remember things picking up a bit is when I got to know other streamers and you sort of, you know, network between those communities. I hate like the term networking as in like, oh, follow for follow and like, I'll do something for you if you do something for me. But when you find people that you genuinely enjoy watching as a viewer and you want to support them, like, the rising tide lifts all boats. I'm bad at saying, but you know, it's everyone and it comes back around. And I think that really is the spirit of raiding.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was hiding in my little tarot category, that's what I've called my first like 2 years of Twitch, was me hiding in the tarot category. I've only really just started kind of getting out of my shell and like going into other places, because I used to just only try, like, I thought that's what I was supposed to do, is just to try and uplift other tarot readers because we're so few. But what I've realized is, like, actually there is people who I like and who would like what I do, and just because they're not streaming the same thing doesn't mean like I don't belong in those spaces. And it's been really nice. Like, I think getting more into like mostly UK Twitch, but even just other streamers in Twitch, it's been so nice to like see how supportive people really are with one another with things like that. It's really cool.
I agree. I think the UK community, while it might be very, I suppose, it's small compared to the US, guys. The US is a big pool. And I think I think for that it's like the US one breaks down to all the FPS guys know each other, all the BRs do, but I think it's for us, it's just we all sort of know each other.
We're all from the UK.
Yeah, it's like it's one branch, and it's quite nice. I think we all see each other at conventions, maybe not the last 2 years, but we all started to see each other and stuff, and it's really nice to see how people are going. And some people have actually got into the gaming industry as a whole. Like, I've seen a lot of them go to like agencies or gaming community roles, and it's really like nice to see them people. Like, they'll send you an email, be like, oh wow, you're doing this now, really cool. And it's close. It's really, really close. And yeah, it's a side that's quite nice to get into. There is a lot more now than there used to be, which is quite interesting to see. But I still think that the UK community is still really close to each other for what it's, even if it's bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, very close-knit, but it's like branches now. We're like a growing tree, aren't we? And everyone's I guess also connecting with each other as well. Like the communities that you didn't actually think would ever connect with each other actually have started connecting with each other, whether it's like collab streams or even like activations wise, because I mean I've started doing activations and stuff with people that I never would have thought I'd be doing activations with, because they don't even play the game, or I'd never heard of them, and I'm just like, how have I never heard of this beautiful person in my life? I'm so happy to be here. Like, y'all are all getting a follow.
Yeah,
I definitely think that's the case. There's been a lot of really nice companies who are trying to get some streamers that are like together as well. I think like WeHype and stuff, they're like an activation with them, and I find somebody from my own country and I was like, I have never seen you before. How have we not came across each other? Like, we literally live 20 minutes away from each other and I've never seen you before. And he was like, yeah, same. Like, how is this possible? You know, but yeah, it's really, really sweet that it's growing, but in a nice way. And we all eventually find each other. One way or another, we find each other, which is quite wholesome. I think we can move on to the next topic, but I think this is more of a broad one where it's like current Twitch and gaming news. Now, this is like very open to discussion. I'm trying to keep it more on the positive side, but more like games coming out or anything like that. I think the game I'm sort of looking forward to the most coming out is actually the one by Concerned Ape, Stardew Valley's creator.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
chocolate one.
Yes.
Yes. Good.
That I don't know when it's out. I haven't really seen too much about it, but I've been looking at all the images and the news articles saying, is it going to be the same as Stardew? I was like, I don't care if it's the same as Stardew. I just want another one out. It can be the exact same, just only about chocolate, and I will still get that game no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter if it's like literally a clone. I don't care. Just pump it out, okay?
I need to watch the trailer for that because when I first heard about it, I hadn't played Stardew, but me playing Stardew has only happened in the last 2 months, and I really, really like it. So now I'm like, ooh, even the chocolate one. That's like what you call it, the chocolate one, because I was like, that's what I know it as right now too, because I'm like so new to the franchise still.
I remember seeing the trailer for the Chocolatier game, and it took me a good 30 seconds to realize that it wasn't just an expansion for Stardew Valley, so it'll probably be somewhat similar.
I'm not complaining.
I wouldn't care if it was just a Stardew Valley reskin, to be honest. Like, yeah, put chocolate in the ground instead. That's fine. I'll take it.
I think a lot of people are with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mods for it though. When you get into that, Pixie, by the way, there's like there's like a furry mod that everybody loves. Yeah, a lot of mods. So I think you'll find once you've like finished the base game. Oh, because you can do co-op now as well, which is great.
Yeah.
Like, which means you can like bring somebody in, because I brought some of my subs in to do the fishing for me. So they did the fishing.
Fish for me.
Yeah, they finished the community thing because I just don't fish, and I was like, hell yeah, great. I don't have to do it. That would take me like 3 weeks in game to even like get remotely close to finishing that. So that was really cool. Really, really cool to see they did the co-op. But it's like there's a lot of games coming out, and a lot of games that are just like not doing as well as I think expected. I don't want to name any because I don't want to slander the names. The new COD is incoming. I don't know if any of you's got access to that.
I didn't even know. I used to be so like into.
I don't think anybody else plays FPS here. You guys don't, right?
No, not anymore. I used
to.
to. Not anymore though.
I do, but only specific ones. Like I'm into hack and slash and shooters, but only ones where there's like some sort of like role play element to it. Like I was really into GTA, all of them for like I've always been into that game.
Yes.
Just because it's like it's more of a game that I used to play personally, so it's fun when I get to play it again every once in a while, you know. But it's definitely, you know, for when I'm streaming, I try to play games that are more like The Quarry or The Devil in Me or Within Me or something. When that comes out, I'm going to go crazy about that.
That's going to be good. That one is like it's not a continuation. It's the same people who made Man of Medan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Man of Medan. Oh yes, that whole series is amazing, man.
Am I the only one who just waits? I don't do any of the queues. I just wait to see what happens. I just don't like pressing the buttons. I'm just like, all right, let's see what happens here, and then they die, and I've only got one person at the end.
Oh, babes. Oh no, I like the chaos. I like choosing a chaotic destiny for the character.
I'll do that the third time around. Usually, people like watching me because I'm so like brutal. They'll be like, "Oh my god, you killed!" Like I'm always killing characters that you're not supposed to be able to kill and stuff like that. And if there's any sort of like intimate interaction, I always get all of those. That's, you know.
Sometimes I them, you kill them. So
it's like chaos on that spaceship, huh? Chaos.
You know, I'm very passive in real life, so I like to act out in like really violent ways when I'm playing video games. So.
That's what they're for.
Yeah. Hey, as long as we get the option to do that, it's all good. I think I'm pretty brutal in the games too. I agree. It's you know what? It's fun for me, I think, to be able to do whatever is possible in the game, to just push it to the limit. Even if that means, like, for example, like I love animals in real life, but in games, you know, I'm not really too bothered. I want to see what's possible in the games, including in Sims. Like I love doing Sims 2, when you used to be able to put a fireplace down and then put a rug beside it and a hot tub and everything burned. It was great. Like
everything was just on fire in The Sims 2 constantly.
Yes, it was. Or
I used to trap my Sims in a swimming pool.
Yes.
Take out the ladder.
Oh yeah,
Everyone did this.
Everyone's done that.
Did you do the baby challenge in The Sims?
Oh my god,
No.
what's the baby
Like,
challenge?
There was some
God,
baby. I
no.
can't remember how many babies.
It's
you're supposed to
100
have.
baby challenge.
That was it. That was
Oh.
it. And I got up to like 7, and I was like, "What? You can only have so many babies in each house." And I'm just like, and I made my character can get others pregnant. So I'm just like, if you're not around when your baby's born, you don't get to name the baby. There's just like babies everywhere. It was
Oh
crazy.
my god.
Chaos.
Chaos. I love it.
Oh god.
This sounds like a nightmare. Like,
No, that
No.
100 baby challenge is hell because the way they voice acted the babies.
I was gonna
Oh.
ask, like, can you hear the babies? Like, ah,
They
like,
don't
there's like 100
stop.
of them. Like,
Oh,
my god,
no.
sensory overload. Like,
They
I love
don't
Sims,
stop.
but I think at a certain age I couldn't play anymore because I felt like it just reminded me of like what I'm probably supposed to be doing with my actual time and life. Whereas like, oh, like go to the toilet, oh, work on this thing and work on this career goal. I'm like, wait,
I have no,
maybe
yeah,
I should
no.
go and do that. And so it wasn't like escape enough for me. But
That's
the
when the
baby
mods-
things that this, yeah, no, I don't know if I could get into that.
The
but-
100 baby challenge is hell. But that's where the mods come into play. That's the mods now that you don't even need to follow that. Because I used to do the same thing. I used to be like, okay, here's my young adult. We have to go to college. We have to get a job. We then need to have a baby or find a person to have a baby with. And then happily ever. No, now it's chaos. Now there's like drug mod and there's wicked whims. And there's like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. What do you mean you're pregnant? Is it even mine? And it's just like, it's just pure chaos now.
Whoa.
The
Drama.
mods-
Oh my god.
The mods have really changed the game. It is not The Sims anymore. It's just the chaos.
No. Yeah.
It's just the chaos. I love it.
You always start out unlimited money yourself. You
Oh
always
yeah,
start
Motherlord,
there.
Yeah.
Motherlord.
Oh, motherland.
I think
I never
that's
do
for real.
Well.
I never do the money sheets.
I try not to as well. I try.
No,
I
I
try and
try
avoid
to
it.
the bottom.
No.
For the feeling of accomplishment and achievement of getting a house that you paid for yourself.
True.
when
Living
it
the
starts feeling real.
fantasy. Screw that, I want to be rich.
Yeah, no, my Sims are just there to fall in love with each other and the other people, and it's just strictly like soap opera nonstop.
Oh
That's
yeah.
all it is. Yeah.
I always live out my gay fantasy in video games. Like I'm always like a lesbian, like who's kissing everyone and stealing people's girlfriends and stuff. I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
that me.
You know what? You can go the extra mile and start making your own stuff. Because I did like a Dr. Phil and a Maury episode in one of my.
like wanting to literally play Sims. Like
No, literally, I got one of my
Okay, do that
community
now.
members to build a Maury set, and then I made the Maury TV screens with like half and half, so the picture of the sim and then the picture of the baby, and then I kind of made the overlays that at the bottom that would come up and be like, oh, so and so says that he is the father of this 4-month-old baby. And then I have a sound effect still on my stream deck that because I did like a dice roll to see if it was going to be that whatever outcome it was.
oh my god.
And then the dice roll was like, oh, it wasn't the father. So I had the sound effect on the stream deck, and it was Maury's voice like, you are not the father.
Oh my
And
god.
the chat erupted. It was so funny. So I'm telling you, it could be so chaotic.
I would watch that all
Sims 2 over
day.
here.
No, if you can,
Downloaded.
if you can guest star it and have people come on and play your different Sims,
Oh my god, that would be so.
I would totally
Yeah.
do it.
That
Look
is
at
so-
his eyes! Look at his face!
Say the please, because I'll put you on the list. You'll be first on the list.
That's a good idea. Yeah, put you on the TV as a guest star or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
A
But it's
friend of
good.
mine made me and tried to make me as accurate as possible on The Sims, and she had a height mod. And in the little picture of me, because I'm 5'4", I'm like
Oh,
in
not
the
the
little
eyes.
picture, I'm just like my actual height.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's proper cute.
Didn't know there was a hype mod. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've added a height mod. So and then kind of on the opposite end of it, when you make a really tall sim, it's just no head, it's just pure body in the in their icon.
Oh, I needed. Did you know what? I need to do that and make me and Simon on it because he's 6'5" and I'm 5'7". And all the pictures that we take of each other, some people notice it. They're like, why is Rose so tall in it? And I sit there, I either have a stool to sit on, or stand on, or like, I've got like, I think they're 4-inch heels as well to make me taller. And I wear them and I'm like, this works. And that'll be great actually, just to see the difference in the Sims world. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna find that and do
I'll
that.
link you the mod.
It's getting free as well, isn't it, Sims? I've heard something about how it's getting a free release.
Base game, I think.
Next month, base game is going to be free for everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
So now's your time. Get that mod folder ready.
Let's go. Aligned.
They're probably doing that because there's a lot of add-ons with them too. Like I bought the Star Wars land.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's so many expansion packs now. Like I've heard there's like a witchy one as well, which almost like got me into the game because I'm very like into my witchy stuff. And I was like, oh, that looks so cool. But then I was like, now, but I didn't. But that's because I was operating under the assumption that you play it like you get a job and pay a house.
Now you can live out your best.
Yeah, it's not that anymore.
No, you can live out your best.
I know what I'm doing after 3.
Yeah, now I want to play Sims. It's been so long since I played it. But
yeah,
I mean,
I've converted in
that.
There's gonna be a lot of fires in mine. It's great. I always wanted to be an arsonist. It's great.
You used to be able to hook up with death, but they fixed it so you can't. But
they fixed
I got Jeff to move in with me at one point because I kept having parties in The Sims and inviting all of my neighbors and trying to kill as many of them as possible. So I'd like put them all in a room, lock them behind a door because I was trying to build up a graveyard in the backyard. But after a while, when you start doing that, when there's a ghost happening, your Sims die because there's just too much going on and they get too freaked out and they just die. So be careful.
Oh my god.
You have too many ghosts because you know how every time a ghost comes up to you, you're like, ah, and you freak out.
Yeah.
So mine got stuck in a loop because there's too many ghosts.
Oh my god.
And he died of like being petrified.
Yeah, you can die of fear.
Yeah. There's emotional deaths. One of my Sims died of embarrassment.
Oh,
no, literally died of embarrassment.
Wow.
that's a horrible way to go.
Oh yeah.
And it was because her coochie stank, and it was very wild.
That mod? Where like big and die of embarrassment because the coochie stank?
Well, no, because there was a mod that would make your nether regions foul smelling, and it made her very embarrassed and said embarrassment.
Podcast is so educational. I've learned so much today.
I know.
You've been playing The Sims wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't know I needed the coochie smell more in my life.
Wicked whims, girl. Wicked whims.
Oh, dear.
I also witnessed, I think it was Wicked Whims that has death by teabagging, which is concerning.
Oh. Didn't see that download. Hop on the website. But yeah, they people are really creative with their mods, man. So yeah, it's a completely different game. Way worlds and years away from the let's just get married and have babies and get a house.
Modding is a game changer for most games. Like it's, do you know what, I got partnered on a game called DayZ, and the zombie survival game, and it didn't get completed by the devs, in my opinion. It got completed by the modders. They completed the game. They made it what it actually is. Eventually, it took a long time, but to be fair, it was a game that came from a mod anyway. It was an Arma mod.
Yeah.
So it got basically Dean Hall, the creator of the mods, became a dev for the game. Bohemia basically said, yeah, we'll keep this going and we'll make it into a real game, and it became DayZ standalone. But the game itself was a disaster after a while, and yeah, the modders came in, completed it, did whatever they wanted, and yeah, they made it into something a lot better. The problem is now it's too many mods. There's like, if you try and join a server, you're sitting there for like half a day, like 500 mods later, you're still trying to get in.
Oh yeah, was it like downloading on your like screen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so if you wanna join a server, you have to like plan it a day before. like to get on it, and then there could be errors and stuff like that, with it. But it's made it to the point where it's a lot more successful, I would say. Like, streamers still play it, and it's like from 2013, like old technically as games go. It's like 8 years old, but yeah, it's definitely something else. I think Sims is old as well, right?
Sims is so old.
Sims 4 though, is that like 7 or 8 years?
It's 10 years, I think.
I don't think 10 just yet. I think they just had their 8th birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the franchise in itself is like is old.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. It's like 18,
since 2000.
and I was like,
Yeah,
it
came out in 2000, so it is old as hell.
I really want them to recreate Sims Urbs in the City. I don't know if you ever played Sims Urbs.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes,
it's so good. I love the Black Eyed Peas like Sims like songs as well.
Yeah,
It's like so good. They're so silly. I've been falling down the YouTube rabbit hole of famous people doing their Simlish covers of their songs in the recording studio, and there's this really funny one of like Katy Perry, like Snoopy Doopy Poop. It's like, and she's just there like, yeah, and I'm like, well, this is so weird, but it's great.
They got some really dope ones on there now as well. I think that they had a celebration thing 2 months ago, and they invited one of the people that they just launched a song with. My brain is farting, so names, I know faces, so names will completely leave my brain within an instant, but I will always know a face. But X person was doing the activation. It's really cool. They got to choose they asked the community to choose like their top 10 songs from like all of the Simlish songs that has been ever put out, and a lot of them, some of the favorites were like Nelly, Hot in Here. but the Simlish version of it, I was like, yeah, we want me for. Yeah, I was like, yes. It's so good. Absolute vibe.
If you have a Wii, there's a game called Black Eyed Peas Experience, and it's a dance game with all their songs. So if you have a Wii, check that out. Yeah. Black Eyed Peas Experience. It's their songs. There's a Michael Jackson Experience too. I haven't played that one, but the Black Eyed Peas one, very good. Like one of those like top tier dance games. So.
Oh, that's so good. I actually got like Just Dance 2 not so long ago on the Switch because like I wanted to start like actually kind of exercising.
Good cardio. It's such good cardio.
Oh my god, it really is. It's so fun. Like after I got over the initial embarrassment of like I don't dance, I was like, this is really fun, but don't look at me. But this is fun.
Close the curtains.
Yeah, I was like, all right, it's alone time.
And if you're too bad at dancing for Just Dance, I recommend Beat Saber because it tricks you into dancing. Like if you do the right blocks at the right time, you do like the dance moves and everything.
Oh,
so good.
I've wanted to try Beat Saber. Is it really good? Because you get to choose songs and like download songs that you really like as well for it, don't you?
You can,
yeah, like any custom song. There's custom beat maps. Pretty much everything. There's even Crab Rave, which actually makes you like crab.
Beat Saber's really good. I think if you have an Oculus, it's a little bit harder because you have to use the Steam version. Use the like mods.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't think anybody really has the Oculus version like a Beat Saber on there when they use the Oculus. They always use the Steam version. At least I do. There's nothing. Oculus is very limited, like because it's Facebook or Meta, I suppose now, but it's very limited. It's a good headset though, because you don't really like you don't have to have a like you don't have to have the wire. You do for Steam connection though, I think. Yeah, I think so. I was actually gonna mention. If you haven't noticed, right, this is a gaming thing that's came up in the last 2 years, including in Cyberpunk, is that they started adding streamers, content creators into the game.
Oh yeah,
really?
yeah. One of my friends is in it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
Fiona.
really cool.
Fiona's in it.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Cyborg Angel. Yeah. She's in it. She looks good as well. I think she's like on like a big poster. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it really suits as well. Like she looks like she's really part of the game because of like her style and stuff too. It's really cool.
She was made to be in that universe.
Yeah. She's literally made to be in that universe. Cyborg. Yeah.
She was, and a co-carnage was in it as well as I think he was a crazy person. I think he was in it.
Oh wow, really?
He was like a
And
crazy
what,
person
really?
conspiracist. And who?
Jesse Cox as well, I think.
Yeah, Jesse's
Oh,
in
he,
it.
he might be in it. Yeah. And then now recently, NBA's put Doctor Disrespect in it with his own side quest. So I'm sort of really getting at, if a game asked you, would you guys go in it, or would you put?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It depends what game it is though. If someone can
Oh,
like,
definitely.
yeah, because then I'm like, okay, if I'm like do something weird to me or like, I don't know, if they could be upset. Would you be upset if you saw yourself as a games character get like beat up? Because I would be.
Yeah, no,
Sorry, I'm
absolutely.
just.
Yeah, you're not allowed to Snapchat me.
Just taking over the question. It just made it weird.
That's the thing. Would you trust the gaming community? Like, would you trust them?
That's what I mean. Where it depends what game. Like, I don't. It's all about, do I trust the gaming community with a particular game
Because, like,
of me?
think of GTA. If your character is in it.
Yeah, no.
Okay, yeah, no.
If I could be like invulnerable, yes.
I wonder.
Paralyzed, which is a game that is in development. Patreons get to be basically the non-controllable powers in that.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
that's so
I'm
cool.
gonna be in it because I'm gonna Patreon forever.
Oh, cool.
Yes, Twiggie.
What
But
kind
that's
of
like-
game is it?
It's a life sim. It is very early development, so it's not coming out for a long time. But it is a life sim similar to The Sims.
Wait, what was the game?
Paralyzed.
I can't wait for Paralyzed.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I am literally, it's the Sims is typing.
Yeah.
No, Paralyzed is gonna be so good. Like, I've been following the development for as long as I can remember, like on
Yeah,
Patreon
same.
and everything. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I used to mod for them on the Discord. So like I've been
Amazing.
following their development very closely, and I know all the mods. I've been talking to the devs and everything, and they're such good people.
Oh
They have
wow.
just such a passion for the game that they're making, and it's so lovely to see.
That's
I'm
so
very much
good.
looking forward to it.
That's so cool. I'm gonna have to look into that. That sounds good.
Yeah, the develop. If you'd like check out the just the process that they've been through from start to where they're at now. They, again, like Twiggie said, so much passion is going into it, into making sure also that they're putting in kind of everything that should be put in a base game.
Yeah.
And they have that transparency as well with the community, like, you know, talking them through like, hey, this is what we're working on. And I think that's so important when you're developing a game as well, like having that transparency with the community who essentially are going to be the ones to uplift your game, like, because I think we're moving away from a time when, you know, games were just put out and then you're expected to just enjoy it, and then if you don't, it is what it is. But because now, like, you know, streamers and content creators essentially are the people who are gonna get your game out there, gonna make it popular. Like, having that input and talking to the people who are gonna be a part of the process and the growth of the game is so crucial and so essential. So they're doing a really good job with that.
I agree with that. And also, like, at the end of the day, we've already seen how much content creators do for games, especially Among Us is the best example.
Yeah.
Fall Guys.
Yes, so true.
Absolutely.
Among Us and Fall Guys, the success of them during especially during lockdown.
Yeah.
God.
Of course, not taken away from the game developer itself, but there is something there. If the right creators get the game, they can do a lot with it.
Because wasn't Among Us meant to be Among Us 2? Well, there was like starting to make Among Us 2, but then because Among Us got so popular, they were like, okay, pause. Let's go back and develop Among Us, and now it is what it is today.
Yeah, it's so cool. I think I've only been doing like a couple game streams like a little bit more recently, moving a little bit more away from tarot, and I swear, like I played this game called like Time on Frog Island. I really like frogs. And it was really surprising to see like how many people literally just picked up the game because I was playing it. And I was like, oh, like this is what, because I've always played games, but I've never really been involved with like the gaming industry side of Twitch. And it's always something I've done for fun, but I've realized now like there is such a huge like influence with it. And I think you'd asked a question on the podcast thing about like where do we see the future of Twitch and gaming and things like that, and it made me think of games like Cult of the Lamb, and where it's like games that are even more integrated with Twitch, where it like allows Twitch streamers to play them and involve their audiences in a less complicated way than, oh, I'm just going to invite you and wait to be invited and deal with all that. Like, have you guys played Cult of the Lamb?
No,
I pre-ordered the plushie.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm so tempted. I love anything with Twitch integration as well. It's
Yes.
just, I think from like games designer perspective, that's always what I wanted to do. Like when I was at uni, I made like games that had Twitch integration. It wasn't really a thing yet. And then seeing it become very popular, it just, as a streamer, it completely changes your experience of it. And it's like you're playing it with chat. So definitely want to see more of that on Twitch.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that'll be easier with guest star too, because when you're playing like Among Us or something, everybody's popping in and popping out and you have to resize everything. So if you already have the slots done, you could just have people come in and out really quick.
Yeah. I love chat integration stuff because when you know your community also are very chaotic with you. And then having them be chaotic with you in game, so not just in chat but in game. It's all the fun. There's a game called Universe Sim. I don't know if anyone's played it.
Oh no.
I own it, but I haven't played it yet.
Oh, do you know what? Okay, so when I say chaos, they get born into this world, right? If they put themselves down as like wanting to be born, they get born into the little world that you're building up, creating. They like have to help you learn how to do certain things so that your civilization can build up. Once they become adults, they can then start choosing whether or not to steal or start fires, and it's just so chaotic. And then you see immediately as soon as they become adults, I start seeing the chat flooded with like, run, steal, exclamation, thief, and then they all start like having like getting together. So then it becomes quite chaotic because one person is involved with another person in chat, and then they break up, and then in chat they're like, what are you doing, cheating on me? And it just becomes very it's very wild. So chat integration is
I love that.
all the fun.
I agree. Chat integration is becoming more and more of a thing. I did a playtest of one that's like I can't really say too much about it, but like a medieval one. It was really, really good, but it hasn't been released yet. I don't know when it's going to be released, but it was like a bit like what do you call them? The raid games. Stream Raiders.
Like Raid Shadow Legends.
No, like, not that one.
Oh, Stream Raiders?
Stream Raiders.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, streamer. Okay.
But like only they can interact more, and it's coming out I think in a couple months. But yeah, those style of games I love, but there's not very many of them for whatever reason. I just think maybe they just don't trust us.
Maybe
They didn't trust us as viewers as well. They're like, oh, I don't know about these guys. I'm hoping for more life and death ones as well, like decisions where chat can do. What's the game that True Colors?
Life is Strange.
That's it.
Oh, Life is Strange.
Yeah.
That one chat could control, and I let them control like a lot of the stuff in the game, and I was like, I regret this. This is not the way I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I hated it, and I was like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever. They got to control things. I was like,
so I let you not control. I have deep regrets. I have deep regrets about allowing you not to control this.
If you haven't tried it, I recommend you Skyrim Twitch extension, because that gets chaotic very fast. They can spawn like 100 cheese wheels to fall from the sky. You can have like 200 Nazeems. I don't know if you remember the go to the Cloud District very often, that guy. But you can spawn him in all around you, and just so many stupid modifiers for your character, which is just ridiculous. Spawn chickens. It gets insane very quickly.
yeah, it's a chaos mod for GTA as well. I don't know how that works. I've just seen people play it, but apparently it's really bad.
Yeah. I think that's one of the worst
challenge. Yeah, like trying to get through the campaign. I haven't done it, but my best friend has. Seeing him try to get through the campaign in Chaos Mod, it's harder than Dark Souls.
Wow.
By a lot.
Oh god.
There's one that you can actually get the chat to do work as well. I really thoroughly enjoyed Chef Squad because it meant that I got to yell at them. I got to bark orders. I was like, Miss Savage, chop onions. Done. I need tomatoes. So you're like head chef, and then chat is basically like everyone like cooking up the food in order to get the orders delivered.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's really good, and you don't have to do any work apart from yell at them. So it's just
I love that. It's like Gordon Ramsay role play, just like yes, do that.
I am an idiot sandwich.
It's nice for it to be that way around for once. Like, you just tell them what to do. They can't
Absolutely.
I've definitely had that.
Proper backseating.
What's the other cooking game where it's like two player? I think it's like a 2-player cooking game.
Oh, that's
So
new. It's like,
delicious.
is it
I think
Chef
it's like
Up?
cooking. I don't know, it's like a cooking simulator or like
I think
something
it's
like
Chef
that,
Up.
and you can see the breakdown of communication within your relationships.
Yeah.
Basically,
It's the
Wait.
true relationship test right there.
yeah, it really is. Where like you're trying to. I can't remember the game. Where it's
Overcooked.
like, yes,
Overcooked.
Overcooked.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and like, oh my god, like people, there was this one point where like I was playing it with somebody and we're like, and we couldn't get our words out, and we're just like trying to tell each other without saying it like what we wanted, but and then I played it with somebody else and we're just like super in sync without saying anything. But it's a stressful game though. It's stressful.
So stressful.
That one's mean because it's hard enough as it is, and then they start moving the platforms and like
Oh my
putting
God, yes!
goals in your way.
Yes.
Like, seriously, did you have to make this any more difficult?
It's a good skill though of like adapting to change and like communicating at the same time, because I think that's a hard skill. Like people like usually shut down, you know, and they're like, "Ugh," but it's good to like you can get through that. Like good.
Just too high pressure. I just
It is.
start getting yelled at. I'm doing what I
yeah.
can. I'm doing my best.
You learn a lot about your friends very fast, and Carly, like, there's one person that takes charge and it's like, right, you're on the hamburgers, you're doing the lettuce, and I'm like, whoa, I never knew you were this much of a control freak. I'm just doing what I'm told.
That's funny. Do you guys play like Nintendo games? Like, have you seen the new Zelda trailer? Are you guys into
I
Zelda?
haven't seen it. No.
Oh, it looks really good. It's like Breath of the Wild.
One of my
2.
fondest memories, because one of the first games I ever streamed was Breath of the Wild, and it was also my first Zelda game. So doing that on stream for the first time was, really good memories.
Breath of the Wild's a beautiful game. So beautiful.
I need to get into it because everyone raves about Zelda. I'm just like, but there's so many hours you can put into it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I get bingy. I get real bingy, and I have things to do. I have adulting to do, serious adulting. But do you love Nintendo games? Do you love Nintendo games? Animal Crossing was my vice.
Oh God, Animal Crossing was so good, especially as well at the start of COVID. Like, when I was like, this is just what we needed. And then the DLC too was so good. I enjoyed that DLC so much.
Same. And I really like that they kept adding things to the game, like the free updates, and it made, it just added a lot to it. That you just didn't have to, it was like the game that kept on giving. Like you just didn't have to pay for all of the cute extra stuff that they were adding, and then the seasonal changes as well. So when the seasons change, it'll be like, okay, we've got quests to do. Let's completely flatten the island and redo the thousands of hours of work that we've done.
I don't know why I did that when the DLC came out. I saw everybody like restarting their islands. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it too. And I was like, why did I just do that? Why did I just do that? I don't have that time to put into the game. I go on a binge with a game, but it's like it can only last for like 2-3 months, and then I hit a point where I kind of burn out in it.
Yeah.
So then like I can only then play it casually. So I don't know why I decided to restart my island.
I technically did a money hack for Animal Crossing. I don't play Animal Crossing, but Froggy does on his channel, and we share an account because you have to have like separate Nintendo groups for each person, right? So if anyone's unclear, Froggy is also me. But Froggy has girlfriends in his game, so like women would come in and just give him money, and men too would just give him money So his entire house is upgraded from like girlfriends coming in and giving him money to upgrade his house, because I'm so lazy on that game. I only like decorate my house, and I have like a couple of areas. I made like a theme park and a graveyard, and that's it.
Oh my god.
Froggy got sugar mamas. What?
The sugar baby.
Oh yeah. He gets all the ladies. I'm like, oh.
Does Froggy have a podcast? Because I need to tune in to learn how to be a sugar baby.
Yeah, it's just Froggy Show on Twitch. So
Love this.
He's ridiculous too. He's on everything. He's like Instagram and even has a Patreon. He's all over the place. So
come on, Froggy, adulting correctly.
Yeah. Maybe he can come visit you sometime. There's more than one, so you know.
Listen,
We got that spaceship.
there's
Yeah.
room. I'm
Yeah,
trying.
there you go.
There's space for Froggy.
So I think, well, obviously we never ever have time to be able to discuss all the topics, just what happens when we've got so many people here. I'm gonna go through this quickly, but we've sort of discussed the future of streaming gaming anyway. But goals for the future of the platform, your content in general, anybody got anything like a timeline? Obviously, not everybody does have a timeline, but I think some people do have a cut clear sort of vision of where they want to go to, where they want to branch out to. If they don't and they want to stay in what they've got and what they want to continue on that, I think Twitch is one of these things where at least it's more secure than a lot of the content platforms out there. I think we've seen that by the last 3 years. We've seen obviously a platform go and potentially another one on the horizon maybe disappear. Was Facebook's game app disappear? Not disappear.
Really?
It's they removed it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm so out of the loop with some stuff.
same.
Like, I don't know how I've survived on Twitch for so long, like living under a rock. I really don't know. I really don't know how I made it.
I think it's like a lot of people are thinking it's a telltale sign that Facebook's gonna struggle for a little bit, despite having like, you know, nearly 200 times the amount of users that Twitch does, because I think Twitch is on 0.14 billion users daily, and Facebook's on 2.9 billion, something crazy like that. So
I guess it's like Facebook. Those users though are there to use the platform in a totally different way, whereas Twitch is like specifically for streaming.
Yeah.
So.
the average age as well is different. So Facebook's users are aging at obviously, you know, a normal rate, of course, but they're not getting younger, whilst Twitch is still gaining younger users.
If you use Facebook, you age faster, whereas Twitch keeps you young.
That's how I heard it.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
found the
use-
new like life elixir.
Right?
Become a Twitch streamer. Siphon the essence of your audience. Stay alive.
Okay, see, I
do
think
that
I'm
during
doing something wrong. I feel like I'm doing something wrong because I feel like I've aged like 10 years the last couple of years.
To be fair, that's kind of true actually. I feel like I'm kind of both. I can relate to both.
I wouldn't even account that to Twitch. I'll just account that to the world we are currently
That's
in.
true.
I come on to age slower
Oh,
to
man,
find my
yeah.
youth.
Oh my god, like I think in the last 2 years I think I've had to ban American politics from chat because I was like, I'm in fucking Northern Ireland, guys, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. What's going on?
Yo.
I had to ban sorry Americans are in chat, but I had to ban them. All right, I've got enough of my own country's problems.
You know, the funny thing is, like, so you have like, you know, like politics is politics. Because I do like tarot stuff, sometimes we get like really alt left or just really crazy spiritual conspiracy theory people. Sometimes like conspiracy theory goes in hand with like, oh, psychic and all this kind of stuff. And like people get really weird, but because, you know, I've got the locks and like crystals, they're like, yeah, you'll get it. Let me just instead of trauma dump, it's like conspiracy theory dump. And it's nuts, like the kind of stuff that people do. I remember one time, like somebody, I tried to de-escalate somebody sharing like, you know, but really extreme like political stuff, and they started accusing me of being like possessed by a demon, and like it's this weird thing where it like gets like weird religion involved as well. It's so strange.
They've gone really extreme on this. They're like, no, you're not just you didn't agree with me, so you're not a demon.
yeah, or like I'm like, you know, I'm one of them. I'm like part of the Illuminati, and I'm like doing this like agenda, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to touch some grass.
During the election, I banned the words. Like I banned words during the election, and it's funny because one of my like best streamer friends, his tag is Trump. So, but usually they'll put like Hearthstone somewhere around it because he's been Trump since like before Trump even did his reality show. So it was just funny because he like, you know, when he comes by occasionally and I have his like name banned from.
What's going on?
Oh, no.
What did I do?
We say hi to him.
Yeah, but there's Trump cards. There's like the Trump cards, like the actual play cards you can play with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you know, and also
Trumps.
Trump means doesn't it mean fart as well?
It does mean
Yeah, it does
fart.
mean fart.
That's it.
Yeah,
Trumping in Soma's chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it means-
when you're a
That
kid, it
is
was more of like a child
hilarious.
word for a fart. You'd say, ew,
That is
you Trump.
hilarious.
yeah.
I think it's because it's like trumpet, and you need to blow a trumpet. You like make a raspberry.
Is
Yeah.
that
I think that's
Trump
where it comes
logic?
from.
I did not.
That makes sense.
Dawn, I did not need that visual. I'm not gonna hold you. I could have gone my whole life without that visual.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know. I think this is universal. If you put auto mod on, it will mod the word hog. So we were talking about like farm animals one day, and it like I had to like approve somebody saying hog because
Hog.
Americans use it incorrectly so often, describing their member. That
Ew.
into a bannable word.
Attractive.
Again, educational podcast.
I
love
learned
that
so much.
Why would you call it a hog? I don't understand. That sounds gross, right?
Yeah, like why
Yeah.
would you want to touch that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Usually it's a self-description and they're trying to gross you out. So I think that's more of
Oh, right.
yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Well, somebody in chat said dirty wild animal is the point of it. Right.
Oh,
I see.
Lovely.
The person's probably single, whoever refers to it as
Right.
that.
probably never seen it.
Attractive.
Oh, God.
I love how you asked about people's Twitch goals and like this is what the conversation
How did
turned
we get
into.
here?
I've actually,
I don't know how it went here, but
Trump is banned on my channel as well, but also the other side, both of them, I just couldn't be bothered. And then the other couple words that I've banned Scarlett Johansson as well.
why?
Because she ruins every film for me.
Oh
She ruins everything, so I banned the word because they kept trolling me with it. Because I'm such, yes, I know, like, a chat's gonna say, oh, she's hot, right? She is very hot, but she's not my type of actor, all right? I don't go to movies to watch somebody's butt. I just don't. I want to go and have, like, fun and be like, you know, oh my god, that's the acting. I felt like I was in that character. But she ruined Ghost in the Shell for me. I'm such a big anime weeb. And they created a live series movie of it. And I went there and I was like, oh my god, it's ruined.
Oh no.
It was ruined. So I like literally for like a month on end, the chat were like, so what do you think of the Ghost in the Shell? Scarlett Johansson's great, right? And they did this on purpose, so I banned the words on purpose. I'm
Oh
like,
my
right, that's
God.
it. I'm banning it. I don't care what you say. So she's one of the only words banned in my channel, but that is
Rightly so.
one of the
This
ones
is your
that I
safe
banned.
space, okay? This is your safe space. Same way FIFA is banned from my chat.
Have you actually got FIFA banned on your channel?
FIFA is not allowed to be discussed in my safe space.
I might ban that word too, actually, now.
I know, yeah. No, I don't think I get. No one says FIFA on my channel. I really don't know what FIFA is.
Actually, yeah, one of the larger the largest UK FIFA streamer does come my chat, so I probably shouldn't ban it, but I do laugh at him when he comes in every so often because he plays Fall Guys, and he also as well, and he stole one of the better players streamers. I sent him a message that says, hey, do you want to be in my team for this? Because I knew full well he wasn't like, you know, he never applies for any rivals, so it's like, I'll get him first. He got him first. The FIFA streamer got him first, and I was like, oh my god, no!
Oh,
Don't
no.
ruin this for me. He's a really nice guy, but it was just like, Stick back to your FIFA. Get back there.
Get back.
Get back to your
lane.
FIFA, all right? You steal all my Fall Guys streamers. I need them, all right, to win. I think they did beat us in the end because he was actually he's too good. The Fall Guys person he picked, Smash, is just unbelievable at the game. Properly good. So
I've tried to play Fall Guys. It's so like when I play games though, I get very I don't know, someone pushes me over, I'm like, I'm like very reactive. Like I get really hyper fixed into the game. So when I'm playing Fall Guys, like I am the character and everything that's going on. And it's such like a whirlwind. Like when I tried to play it though, I was like, this is too chaotic. Like this is too much, but it was so funny at the same time.
I completely resonate with that because you get so immersed in it, right? And then everything, every touch, every movement, every push, it's like,
yeah,
why are you
I'm like,
touching me?
Off of me. Who's touching me? I'm like, and I think there's like a thing though too, because I feel like there's a level of composure I'm supposed to have as like somebody who just like supportive, safe space conversations, and then you like cut to be playing Fall Guys. I'm like, wait, this is like two very different people.
The energies are completely different. You need to be a different person for Fall Guys.
Agreed.
Same with Among Us. Although Among Us used to give me hella anxiety because I hated being the imposter and then having to lie through my teeth constantly. And it was like very anxiety inducing. So I'm just like, are people gonna start thinking I'm a fantastic liar and that everything I say is a lie because I'm so good at this? I have to stop.
I have the opposite problem because I'm really bad at laughing. I'm really bad at lying. So they'd be like, "Did you kill that guy, Dawn?" I'd be like, "No, obviously not." It's really obvious when I'm imposter. It doesn't last very long. You just have to directly ask me, and then I crumble.
Oh no!
I enjoy playing with people like you. Like we've been doing social deduction games on my stream almost every single week for like a year. I'm still terrible at lying, but I love trying to figure out people's tells.
Yeah,
I'm not good at it, but like playing with the same people and figuring out what their tells are, it's so satisfying. I love that part of it.
The psychology of Among Us.
Oh, I know. It's so funny, especially when like I had a really good run once on Among Us where there was some really, really good players, and I ended up I decided to just win the trust of this one person because they were the most vocal. So they would defend me and vouch for me in all of the meetings. And it was probably one of my best games ever because then in the end, I just turned around and killed him. And he was so infuriated with me. And it was just like, this is my villain arc.
Yeah.
This is my villain arc. But it feels good.
But you know when that happens, they never trust you ever again.
They never did. They never did.
And that's the thing. The trust is broken from one run. Every game you now play is like, I don't believe you.
I
play
that game so chaotically that people are just so unclear on if I'm doing things on purpose, and a lot of times I'm not. Like I'll just like forget what I'm doing, or a lot of times I have to like chill out whenever I'm supposed to be the murderer. I have numerous times accidentally killed somebody in front of somebody else because I get too anxious about it, and I'm just like and then I'm like
quickly report, why would you do that? Why would you
kill them?
I was like, it's gaslight time, and no, you killed them. I saw you. They tried to click the button before I did. I don't play that game anymore. I was like, I'm seeing that side of myself that I don't like.
Okay.
You can learn a lot about yourself and your friends from social deduction games. For better or for worse.
I absolutely love the game because I play it a lot with the mods, and it's so much fun because every single one of them has a massive tell. And the worst one is our mod Thumb, and the worst things that they do is that they just are so suspicious. They do the most weirdest things. For example, they'll stare at you through the window, and you'll be like, "Why are you doing that?" So then obviously they've sat there for like 10 minutes staring at you through the window, right? And you're trying to do your task, and like, they're the imposter. So you go and report them, you eat it out, and they're like, "But it was the wrong evidence." Like, so you were the imposter the whole time, but and like every game. without fail, that person gets voted out every time. Like it's not a doubt they will get voted out because the stuff they do, and even if you ask them like, are you the imposter? Like, no. And they weren't even the imposter that round. You vote them out every time because you're like, that's just so suspicious. Why are you speaking like that? It just doesn't make sense.
It's same gameplay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. The first complete time I played it, I didn't know that we had tasks.
Oh.
That's fair.
So I'm just like walking around. But then now I use that as like, you know, as an advantage sometimes. So I'll be like kind of slow on my tasks sometimes, or you know, or sometimes I'm like trying to get them all done, but sometimes I'll slack a little bit just to throw people off. Yeah. Well, because people get really talky in that game too. So I have to remember to still talk, because if people are too talky, I'll just sit there and be like the whole time. And people usually like, you know, that's usually how I'll get away with stuff too. If I am the imposter, is because people will just talk too much and they'll forget I'm there.
I'm wondering if I link this tweet in our Discord thing, if you guys relate to it, because I made when the Among Us thing was like popping off, I did like a thing of like the 12 zodiac signs as like imposter characters, and like some people like really related to it down to like the color that they choose and like their game tactics. And I don't know if you want me to share this in stream chat.
Do it. Actually, I'll share it for you.
Pixie, I am a Libra and I'm always yellow. That is very bewildering to me.
There you go.
I'm a Scorpio, but I'm always purple. But the tries to remember who voted them out last game and smiles while killing them is exactly what I do. I find them and I kill them.
Sorry, chat. Oh, you'll have to approve my link in chat.
I put it in.
Oh, okay, cool. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio too, indeed. The description is correct. I've always read though.
That, you know, I was wondering when you said that you liked to the psychological profile and like getting people's tells. I was like, she's a Scorpio. That's such a Scorpio thing.
I really quiet but calculating. Not so much the great sabotage though.
Yeah.
I feel like
which one are you?
I can't read the Cancer one.
Virgo.
Oh, you're a Virgo.
Yeah.
I'm a great sabotage. I did find out afterwards, after a bit more like show and tell from the community, Virgos are either that or they're like panic attack.
I'm gonna kill another one and then another one. Just get them all as much as I can.
Cancer's one says emotionally manipulates, will follow one person, build trust, and then betray them.
I'm screaming. I saw that a lot. I'm gonna start checking actually who did that to me last time I played. I'm pretty sure they were Cancer. I'm now like linking. Okay, so I'm a Scorpio moon, so I kind of do the Scorpio things, and I'm a Virgo ascending, so I'm very quiet. I don't talk when I'm the imposter, and I'm
oh my god. When I'm a Virgo rising as well, and as soon as I get imposter, I'm like, but I'm a Sag moon, so then I also go get really impulsive and like kill people right away.
I always play green, obviously. I'm always one of the shades of green, whichever one's left.
Is that because of frog?
But and because I'm SomaGreen, it's my last name. Like sometimes people, depending on my surroundings, everybody calls me green. Most people call me Soma. But in a lot of work settings, people call me green. So, and also my name's kind of masculine, so I let people think I'm a man at work mostly for as long as I can. So, yeah.
I like that.
That used to be when I used to work jobs and stuff. I did a lot of stuff online and through email, and people wouldn't know who I was until we'd have our conferences, and then they were expecting some Poindexter dude, and then I show up. So
yeah, I love that. I love when you get to kind of like people build up an image of who they think you are, and then you're like, surprise.
Girl power.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, the attaching yourself to people, because I love following around other people in video games, to the point where there was an MMO where I had a mod where you could attach yourself to other people, so I wouldn't even walk. They would just kind of pull me around. Yeah, you could have them lead you with a chain or hearts. So I would turn on the hearts, and you're just kind of following them around like this. and then that way you can like shoot or do whatever else.
I love that.
I love that. It's like carry me.
Yeah, exactly. They need that in every game for like if a little kid is playing, make them like invincible and you carry them around.
Oh,
if you ever have to play a video game with a little kid, Knack is perfect because the second character has unlimited lives. So I'll play that with kids and they love it.
I love that. Knack. Oh, that's so cute.
That's really cute.
I'm gonna make a note of that. My goddaughter, she's 4 and she loves games. Like she loves watching me play games and stuff as well. And I got a Switch. Like I got on my Switch, I just got games purely for when she comes to stay over.
Aww.
So so she's like Just Dance is one of her faves. Doesn't know what she's doing. What she's
I love that so much.
It's the best feeling in the world seeing little ones get into games. I have like a half brother and half sister who are much younger. And I'm in so much trouble because I introduced them to Mario Kart. I showed them Zelda. I'm the reason they had to buy a Switch. And I remember having a call with my dad and my sister was there in the background. And she was asking to play Minecraft. And my dad goes, no more Minecraft. You already played too much today. And she comes right up to the camera and goes, it's not fair. She gets to play games all day for a job. And that is the sickest burn I have ever been delivered.
Did you clip that? That needs to be like something you could push everyone.
I wish I had a recording of this.
I wish I had more like kids in my life because I find them so wholesome and cute, but I just don't have like younger family members or anything. So I just live on TikTok.
Are you an only child?
No, I have an older sister, but she's a lesbian, and she also is not ready to have children. I think she might do one day, but yeah, like I don't have any little. I'm the youngest. Just me and my sister. But yeah, the baby pressure is on me, and I'm like.
This is
I don't know how you manage a baby and Twitch. I know some people have done it, but I don't know. I feel like a kid still, so I'll pass for now.
I think it's hard. It depends, like if you're a solo parent or not, because there's some solo parents I've seen on here and they have their kids on with them. And I was like, personally for me, like, because I get a lot of questions, especially from parents. They're like, so I've set up my kid a Twitch channel, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But what age are they? And they're like, yeah, he's just turned 8, and I'm like, no, stop, no. Yeah, this actually happened last week. I told somebody, I was like, do not put your kid on Twitch. It's like, you haven't seen my ban list. I keep it there just to laugh at, but trust me, I read some out and I said, this is the crap we get. I'm not even reading out the racist or the homophobic stuff. Like, bro, you don't have your kid on here.
Have you ever like dug into like low view account just chatting or ASMR? And like there's sometimes like kids like streaming and the weirdest types of people end up there too because they're like scouting for that, and it's so weird.
Yeah, I report it because I'm like too young. You can't be on here, and like they do get removed because it's like Twitch always check for it. But specifically when they have it in their bio and they said like I'm 10 years old and I love playing Fortnite, and I'm like, no, you shouldn't be on here. No.
I wish there was like a safe site for them to go and do that though, so they can make friends and stuff. But it's like, oh, sorry.
That's what Musically was for them, right? Before it became TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok used to be Musically.
Yeah, I remember
that. And I used to work in a school, so whenever because I used to be like the counselor or whatever.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
Yeah, I used to do like the safeguarding stuff in the school. So, and I was technically not a teacher, so all the kids used to come to me because I was just like, Miss, this, I didn't know I'm a teacher. I was like, okay, all right, relax, you're fine. But they always come and chill in my office, and then they tell me, oh yeah, we just did a dance on Musically. I was like, what the hell is Musically? And then they showed me, and it was just like, yeah, we just go and then we do dances. So like TikTok was Musically in like 2018, 2019.
That's so cool. I didn't know that, but that explains why it's the way the platform grew. It grew from young teens, I think, and then it sort of blew up from there to more of a mainstream thing. But that explains a lot, doesn't it? I mean, to be fair, they do need somewhere to go. I just don't feel like Twitch is the one. I mean, hopefully eventually they have a Twitch one where they'll have like approved content creators
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like a
with a Z.
like team up with Disney or something, and there's certain content creators that can watch that are approved. I will never be on that list. I know full well, but yeah, because being too Irish.
Penguin, where like you could I don't know. Actually, no. I think on Club Penguin you can type, but ones where it's like you're just limited to like certain like speech bubbles that you click to like talk to people.
Broke a bunch of parts. You just broke a bunch of parts bringing up Club Penguin, by the way. So many people are crying right now because they're like, no,
I'm sorry.
Roleplay in the pizza restaurant.
Ruined live.
I think I was too old for that. Wait, hold on. How old is everybody here? Because that might be because I'm 29.
27.
27.
21,006. 27.
What did you say, Danny?
I'm 30.
Oh, okay. So we're similar.
I'm about to be 31. Yeah.
Ooh.
Hello, Twiggy.
I'm 27.
Ah, and Soma?
I'm not answering.
I'm a frog.
I retract.
I have a command in my chat when people are like asking me my location, age, or anything like that. I have like auto answers. So my auto answer for how old are you, whenever they ask that, it always says, SomaGreen is 2 years older than you. So like whatever, you know, and then they have their reaction based on that. And part of the fun of that is, especially like some of the younger audience, they have a hard time placing how old you are exactly. So it's interesting to see like what range I get. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
That. I always ban age talk in my chat in general, especially if like anyone, if they're under 18, I will 100% be like, you're not even meant to be here. You got to go. You got to go.
Yeah.
One.
Well, Twitch TOS, they have to be 13 to even have an account. So yeah, I agree. I think for me, like, because I'm turning 30 this year, like I might start doing that. Actually, I might put that as a rule, like, don't mention my age ever again.
I might start doing that as well. I think sometimes like it's interesting with age because like people can sometimes either take you less seriously or more seriously as well. And like it's just as soon as you say your age, like there's just I don't know, it's just kind of like just so much like of their own like opinion then starts to like change, even though it's like, hey, well, you're just observing me as me anyway right now.
Right.
And then as soon as they like say a number, that like changes the perspective of like how they're absorbing me as information, if that makes sense. It's like now there's this filter and it's like, nah, you know what? Never say my age again now.
My Spider-Man onesie says different, so.
Spider-Man onesie?
Yeah, I love Spider-Man.
Oh my god. I love it.
That's
so
comfy. That's great.
I was gonna wear my onesie, but it's like a Christmas one, and I was like, okay, I need more onesies in my life because it's not Christmas.
Christmas decorations have started going up, babe. You're absolutely fine.
What about Spookmas? Spookmas comes before Christmas.
I know.
Christmas come before Christmas.
Overjoyed so much. Did you guys like decorate? Do you do seasonal decorations on your streams or anything like that?
Oh yeah,
I did for Christmas. I might do for Halloween.
It's my first year without a green screen, so I'm fully planning on decorating.
Oh yay!
Yay!
Oh, it's so fun. I love it so much. It's like my favorite part of like getting into like a new season. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I can tell by your background, which looks amazing.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I have one for like spring, summer, and autumn and winter, and like I got loads of decorations, and like I add to the hoard of it every year as well.
My inspiration, because
yeah.
my Christmas tree could very much have still been around till June. I'm not
yeah, I do run into that problem sometimes though,
because it looks nice and I'm like, I don't really, now it's a part of me. It really goes with the aesthetic. I don't actually want to get rid of it now.
Also, after Christmas, there's this long period where nothing's really happening holiday-wise. So I just like mourning Christmas after Christmas.
Yeah.
And like nobody puts anything up for Easter, not really. Like I mean, you could eat a chocolate egg.
Oh, I do. I got like bunnies. I got like a spring wreath. I love like wreaths. Wreaths are so I don't know. Like I hit an age and I was just like, wreaths are gorgeous. Why didn't I know about wreaths?
I love wreaths
ever until now. Like wreaths are just so cool.
Yeah.
So we're all hiring Pixie for our stream space renovation.
You know what?
seasonally.
I've literally thought about if I, ever wanted to get like work other than stream stuff, I'd love to like decorate spaces and like make them
Yes.
cozy. Like my room, like I only moved into this place like 2 months ago, so this is
2
like
months.
yeah, but the
Jeez,
place
son.
before that, and even just around my house, I'm just like cozy little like nests of places because I don't know, I just like my comfort, I think, and aesthetics. Like it's
It
really
looks
nice,
So
and nourishing.
lived in like
Yeah,
2 months.
literally moved it. Well, I get maybe coming on like 3. I moved in on like the 1st of July actually, so we're actually just a little bit over 2 months. But
That is
yeah.
inspiring.
That is nuts.
I'm so inspired. I'm gonna buy a pumpkin tomorrow.
Do it. If you're like chill though, like don't get like I was gonna say a live one. Just you can get like little like
Plasticky ones.
just little plastic ones, and they're not gonna go moldy and like
Oh, yeah, because
like
if
there's no
you buy
rush to
one
like get rid
now-
of it, and you put it in a drawer and use it next year as well. This one's my favorite pumpkin. It's like the
looks
most
so
aesthetic pumpkin.
Okay, so question: where then how do you have the storage space? Because London doesn't enjoy storage space for residents, and I'm like, even my Christmas tree is struggling in the back of the cupboard that I've shoved it in because I have no space.
I've got like a big unit, like a square unit with like boxes that you kind of like push in. It's like
Yeah,
IKEA,
yeah, the
like,
IKEA ones,
boxes.
yeah.
And it only fills up. To be fair though, like now I bought a few extra pumpkins this year, so I have like this one box that has like seasonal layers. Like Christmas is at the bottom right now, and then I had like all of my fall stuff, and then it just fits in this box. But yeah, I have a lot of Virgo rising. You gotta get onto that storage height.
Listen, I'm trying, babes, and I got a puppy now as well. So puppy has now got her own segment of the house.
Oh, bless.
He can
Yeah, I'm up north, so I got storage room.
Love it. Honestly, it's being in London is hell. It is hell for storage, like just space, like having spacious properties that are affordable. It is very hell. So I'm thinking of moving up where there's a room and a garden.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Over
people have been
here.
moving up more north.
Yes, more north.
Yeah, you're like super north, aren't you,
Who? Me?
Queenie? Yeah,
Well, I'm Northern Ireland.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
the super north.
Technically,
wait.
we are level
Yeah,
with Scotland, so
Yeah, I was
sort
gonna
of.
say, I was
Roughly.
thinking of Scotland for some reason. I don't know why I had Scotland in my head.
Like we're level with like some of Scotland, not all of it. I mean, Scotland's huge compared to us, but like cheap houses, by the way. And my house is a detached new build, 4 beds, but we demolished one of the walls, but like 130k. So
Jesus.
What?
that's how much it costs, completely new build, and we customized it.
That's
What?
wild.
And
I
I live on
had
the
a really-
beach, so we live
Wow.
beside the
So I'm
beach.
moving in next door. If you don't mind, I'm
Literally.
gonna steal all your internet bandwidth.
There actually
Yeah.
is a massive amount. So Lupac lives 5 minutes away from me up the road. And
Wow, really?
yeah, he lives up the road from me. He's lived here for a long time. And actually, one of the reasons why we moved to the coastline, because he said, yeah, it's great out here. I was like, yeah, shit, we'll move out. We'll go and check out the houses around there. And they're building new houses. And we're like, yep, all right, perfect. No problem. We'll move out that way. And then there's Cesarin, who moved from Norway, I believe. And he moved over. And then he's got like 7 new Path of Exile streamers who have moved from like all different
Wow.
countries.
Is this
moved to
gonna be like,
Belfast.
like the UK version of like Texas? You know how
Yeah.
all the American streamers all go
Yeah.
to Texas? Like all the
Right.
EU ones just go to like Northern Ireland. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
There's probably about like 30, 40 of them are all around Belfast now, all Twitch partners, all from different places.
Wow.
And I'm
Oh,
just finding
wow.
out. And then in the Twitch Women's Alliance, I found out there's a Canadian, Fee, I believe, Pheedran. She's also in Northern Ireland. And I was like, didn't even know. I was like, great. And so, yeah, they're all slowly moving over because it's cheaper. And I've got 1 gig internet where I am, and I live in the middle of nowhere.
That's I was gonna ask, how's the internet if you live near a beach?
It's
Because
good.
like
It's good.
Yeah.
The phone signal is like not so great unless you're on BT or EE. Any other company? Nah, don't even bother. But
That's okay. No one
like-
should be calling me anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like properly, it's so quiet, like hardly anybody's out here. Nobody will bother you or like try and, well, I suppose they could try and annoy you, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend it in Northern Ireland. Like you just don't. But it's really sweet. So there's more and more people coming over. But if you ever want to, you know, if you're going full time,
like, I'll scout.
I would. I never go outside anyway, so like put me in a nice house. I'm sorted for life.
I'll just go over. It's fine. You can stay with us. It's okay for a while. It's good. But it's like, I think Cesar, for whatever reason, he's been convincing everybody to come over, and he's been successful at it. So
should be hired by Ireland or something.
I don't think they care for people to move over. I really don't. Like every other country has like advertising to come and stay over. Like even when I went to Gamescom, there was like Australia and Japan and Korea and all being like, you know, we want people to come over to our countries. And like in the bottom, I think you've seen it as well, Ebonix, because you were here for Gamescom.
Yeah, I went to Gamescom. Yeah,
it was really good. So many countries were there, and I was like,
what?
Where was everywhere else?
That's crazy. I don't know about that. Like I lived in Finland for 2 years, and like because they're a socialist country and they have like such a small population, that they had like government grants for you to go and live there, but not as a streamer, just like generally as a person. I think that's changed now though. I think that's changed, but yeah, that's great. I didn't know that games. So they had countries there wanting streamers specifically.
They wanted people in the gaming industry, whether that was whatever it was. Denmark was there as well, and loads of countries like trying to recruit, saying the benefits of living in that country and stuff. But Ireland and UK weren't really there.
Why is that like mind blowing? Why do I find that really odd and strange?
Even Scotland had a desk, a teeny little desk. They had one.
Come
so
to Scotland, come on.
It's because they have the best universities, I think, for gaming. Aberdeen and not Edinburgh, but there's another one that's supposed to be one of the best in the world. So
there's Teesside as well, which is pretty good, but that's just north. I don't think that's in Scotland. I don't know anything about the north. It's just up somewhere.
Yeah. I can only speak to Canada and the U.S.
Everybody,
all the streamers moved to Texas because they don't have income tax. That's
they're all really low income tax. I think something like that.
So
not at all.
The infrastructure there though is dangerous. Like the houses randomly crumble and the power goes out constantly.
Yeah.
So
and it's not very safe there being a woman. Maybe it'd be safer to be a guy.
Yeah, like depending on the US is so crazy too, depending on where you are, it's like different countries depending on where you are. So like completely different mindsets everywhere you go. But what is always the case, the closer to the city you are, the more expensive it is. So if you're willing to be in the middle of nowhere, you can get really cheap houses. But you have to be like nowhere. You know, like you have to be like 2 hours out of the city.
Yeah, I know some of them own a ranch out there as well. Some of the larger creators own ranches, and I was like, "What?
Hello,
a ranch? What?"
Yeah. No, houses are really cheap in that area too, because you know you never know if they're just gonna like crash and burn, fall apart, kind of.
Let's go.
So you have like all these McMansions that are super cheap, but it's like you run a chance of that entire neighborhood won't get power for a month at a time.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yes.
Sounds like hell. No thanks.
Yeah.
I've watched too many American horror movies too to ever live in the middle of nowhere.
I was just like, oh no, internet for like, oh my food. I didn't even think about like movies, horror movies.
This mansion is suspiciously cheap. There's nothing wrong with it. Definitely not haunted.
I know Isle of Man.
Run out of cell service. Like, there's a lot of places you can drive around in Canada, like even right outside of Montreal, and you'll just suddenly not have cell service at all. So it's like a horror movie.
That's
constantly. Yeah. Which is like weird because you're like used to not having internet occasionally, but like no service at all. You're like, I'm gonna die.
I don't even have to start a fire. Like, it's over for me. Can't open a can. I'm left-handed, so opening cans is just hell. I'm just gonna suffer.
This is why I had to learn these skills. You know, when you're in the woods, you have to learn how to build a fire, you know, make your own food, go hunting, all that.
Oh, my country's too small to be going hunting. Like, what would I hunt? Maybe a random bunny that I'd probably see, or a fox or something. But I mean, they're too fast for me. I ain't going anywhere with that. Isle of Man, we're trying to get content creators out. We did a consultation call with them not too long ago, and they were gonna do no tax for UK creators. I don't know if they did it, but it's too expensive to live there. They get a house over there. It's ridiculous.
Where's that?
Isle of Man.
Oh,
Isle of Man.
yeah. I was gonna say like Isle of Man is like kind of hard to move there though, because there's just so like limited space, right?
It's just the cost of the houses would be too much, and there's not that many rentals that'd be suitable for creators. So I had to explain that to them. But I mean, I think they were still planning it. The other one is Southern Ireland. A content creator got 0 tax because they applied for the artist role, and they got approved. A streamer got approved, so they don't pay any tax.
Wow.
Yeah, I should look into this. I should look into this stuff.
Yeah, you all need to especially look into this, because there are some countries where they will pay you to be a creator.
Wow.
Not the US, not the US. Give up US, but like there's other countries where they can like you can sign up to be an official artist for the country, and they'll like fund you for an amount of time.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, UK.
Listen, nothing's holding me here. Nothing is holding me here. I'm ready to go.
Look into I would say, right, that so obviously I'm in the north. The north is okay, but I mean it's controlled by the UK, so there's nothing special that we get extra wise. But Southern Ireland is really good for it, and it's more progressive than most other countries in the world. That's for like diversity and just for LGBTQ rights and women's rights and stuff. They're actually really good. So that is a country to 100% look into, especially for the artist role. If you could get that, I don't know how long you have to live there for. Maybe it's a year or, you know, whatever the rule is, but there's some type of rule, I think, for it.
Yeah. I just have this image in my head of like, I paint a picture, please. Like, art, please.
Microsoft Paint masterpiece.
Yeah. Like, please, I paint.
I do green stickman.
There's different forms of art too. Like, I mean, technically, I'm a performance artist, so you can do different things. I mean, you know, you don't. Everybody always
not just like
painting, but it's like, because whenever I tell people that I'm an artist, because that's easier than saying Twitch streamer for most people, like, you know, I've gotten used to saying I'm a performance artist again, because I used to be when I was younger, and I would just do all these like, you know, the like really out there stuff with my like theater friends, and we'd be all like wacky and like, oh, this has so much meaning and all that crap. So now it's kind of like a different, more fun version of it. So especially with ASMR. So
yeah.
Speaking of being an artist, love all of our hats, babes. We are also creative directors. We are also management. We are also content creators. We are editors. We are streamers.
Yeah.
We have too many hats in this space. Too many hats.
Entrepreneurs to a certain extent as well.
Yep.
So there's so many qualities in it. I actually did a tweet with that not too long ago, and I was like, somebody added more onto it, and I was like, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. These are all little things, but we fit into so many job roles that we never fit into before, especially if you've been here for like over a year. You're like, I've been doing things that I didn't even know, you know, people got paid to by a company to do. I was like, oh, it's so true. It's so true.
Community management as well, like all of these.
I think that's probably one of my biggest hurdles, like just learning how to manage people, managing people and relationships, like within that, keeping it like respectful, because you have to kind of learn like human resources and ethics and boundaries and like human stuff as well, like so everyone's safe and having an enjoyable time. Like, it's so interesting, like types of stuff you learn.
We're models too. We're models too. I mean, especially technically, if you have like a fan house, I have a fan house and it's pictures of me. So it's like which is so weird, because you're like, you know, like in your like later years, all of a sudden I'm a model. Like, like
it's
such
no
a
longer
weird thing
just
to say.
selfies.
Yeah, no, but you do, because you have to present yourself for like promotional stuff, and it's like, you know, like fan house is my like, you know, how I like support myself too. So it's like, you know, you're doing that, every day and you're taking pictures. Like actually I perked up when you were talking about the beach because I bought a bunch of bikinis and then all of a sudden it's fall now. So I'm like, oh no.
Whipping them out into the rain.
Do some green screen shots, just like Bahamas beach in the background.
Oh my God.
What up?
Swap out the spaceship for a beach. It's okay.
Yeah. Spaceship experience.
Yeah.
I love it.
So true. I think, do you know what? Also, I feel like, because we've sort of touched on this a little bit, but like for me, personally, I think it's been hard to explain this to my like family on what I do. Obviously, the last couple of years, especially since I got my own house, they've sort of like understood it a bit. But in reality, there's so many people out there who just don't understand there is a lot of work that goes into it. Obviously, at the moment, there's like a viral thing that's went around that some kid on TikTok as a content creator has said, my job is harder than 9 to 5s, and it's not. I don't know why he did this, but it blew up. I don't know if anybody else has seen it. It's been blown up the last like week, and you're like, bro, you've literally just started anyway. For a start, you've only been doing it for like 5 6 months. You've no idea, but you can't say things like that because you don't know how hard somebody else's job is, especially if you've never had it. This guy's like 18, 19 years old, like just about out of school, and he said this, and you're like, it is a weird job because the thing is there's all these tutorials online, there's all these stream coaches and stuff like that, but in general this industry is moving at such a fast rate that even if you learn some of the things, or you know, a tutorial out there, that tutorial's out of date within a couple months, you know, that OBS update you've just seen that somebody's, you know, explained to you, it's out of date. You know, this game that came out that's supposed to be blown up and somebody said, yeah, these are the top 5 games to stream, that's out of date. The YouTube videos are not relevant anymore, and especially for tutorials for how to do things, like the plugins are crazy. They move so fast, and it's an industry that's just, it will never be something that somebody can just teach you. You have to go out and do yourself. That part is like, you have to be self-sufficient. So it's a hard job to not only explain to somebody, but also say to that, you know, new people coming in who think, oh, it's going to be easy money. It's not.
Oh, that's like the really annoying one, isn't it? Because it's just like, oh, you're gonna be so disappointed. You're gonna be so disappointed if you start out like thinking that that's what you're gonna get out of this. Like, it takes like so long. And the thing is too, I think the people who have that attitude, you can kind of like
Sense it.
You can kind of sense it, and it just makes all of the interactions like really uncomfortable. And it's interesting because I think like you saw like I think people should be paid for their work, and I want everyone to thrive. Like, I think there's more than enough to go around, and I'm very like into that. But yeah, I think sometimes it's like doing stuff just for the money when it comes to like people's, you know, regular like hard-earned stuff. It gets tricky. I saw a lot of it though in the tarot. In tarot, people being like, oh, you can make money just like reading tarot cards. Like, oh, I'll do that too. And it was like so incredibly
insulting,
uncomfortable.
Well.
Like watching people. It's like, oh, it's kind of like cringy. Like it's pretty cringy. But they tend to learn quite fast, I think. And then I think it really weeds out, you know, like, like because there's, you have to have, and this is with any job, like you have to have more than just like money driving you, or else you're just gonna crash like so fast. Like, it's just unsustainable.
People drop in and out of it a lot too, like especially in the ASMR category. I've noticed that a lot of people will last 2 years and then disappear forever.
Like, I think even 2 years is longer than the average. I think the average is within like 8 months.
Oh yeah.
But ASMR is lovely. Like, I went through a small phase of like trying it out because I love listening to it, but it's so like to hold a space, like because it's performative as well, and like you have to almost like be in a certain space in yourself to be able to like really hold that like
for a little while. It was like like when I first started doing ASMR, absolutely no one was doing it on Twitch anywhere. There was like one girl that was like kind of doing it, but she was doing more of like a fetish show. She was like sitting on cakes and stuff, and I was like, But I'm like, oh, here's a gaping
Lovely.
hole right now on Twitch. I already do performance art. It's like 2 clicks away from ASMR. I should be doing this. And like, that's how I got to partner, was because there were so few. And then like, once I started doing it, others started doing it too. And then it like blew up. And then now it's at the point where it's like a regular game level. So there's a lot of people who think they can, you know, jump on that bandwagon, or they'll get bored doing it. And there was even a craze where some of them were like watching movies while they're doing the ASMR. And it's like, that's not how you, like, ASMR is all about the sounds and creating the sounds. So like, how are you even doing it then?
So they're tainting it. They're tainting something sacred.
And unfortunately, there is this kind of association with it being something sexual inherently. And I think, you know, that especially that has happened on Twitch, which is obviously not a bad thing in its own right. But for people who just want to do the kind of relaxation side of it, I have a weird history with ASMR because I have whisper in my name and it's not intentional. But when I started streaming, I was very shy. So I always used to kind of talk really quietly like this. And people used to come in and they thought I was an ASMR person. And so it's like, it's an interesting thing because I think some people enjoy it from a sort of kind of therapeutic perspective. And that is like very, very valid. But then unfortunately, if people are kind of trolling ASMR, so it comes back to that sort of like, ooh, this is a sexy thing. And it's not always.
Well, it's different types of intimacy, and I think a lot of people have only experienced sexual intimacy, so they don't understand just like being like calm with someone, or just being in like a quiet moment, or like, you know, the intimacy of like friendship location kind of things. But there are people who specifically are doing a style of ASMR like ear eating, which is like a different kind of realm of what's going on. Like I had done, when I first started, I did stuff like jump scare ASMR because I was like so out there. But the majority of people who are coming onto Twitch are looking for fall asleep ASMR. So that's like all I do now is like fall asleep. Except, well, it's almost October, so I'm gonna do the ring again. But you know,
oh my god, I want
to scary ones in there.
I want to get like jump scared at ASMR.
That's an intimacy I'm intrigued about.
I love a good turbulent relationship with my ASMR artist.
It's really like a shot of adrenaline when you get jump scared and you're like, I don't know.
No, when I only do the girl from the ring once a year because it really bothers people because I'm really good at it.
Role play her like
oh yeah people are worried, like people who don't know who I am are worried. Like I don't like I always have to tell my mods ahead of time because people are like, is she okay?
Oh my god,
I don't break character when I'm all out role playing, so you know, it's terrifying. It's
I really like that. I love that. I had a thing for I did like a Christmas subathon, and a thing that was supposed to happen that didn't, but is going to make a return, is like I really wanted to do a Santa, like a very like genuine Santa does role play, and like, you know, just like telling people they're on the naughty list or the good list, but just really be in character as Santa and just do it.
I did Mrs. Claus. And she goes around and visits all the naughty children. Yeah, because, you know, Santa's visiting all the good children. So Mrs. Claus goes to see the naughty children.
Yeah, I love that.
I love this. I really want to do more cosplay as well. Do you guys do like a lot of cosplay?
I do a lot of like fantasy characters, like elvish stuff, but I make them up. They're not like replicants of like, I'm not like cosplaying something that already exists, but I love like fantasy cosplay. So cool.
It's quite an expensive hobby though, isn't it? When people really get into it. But I respect it, especially so at TwitchCon, the cosplay contest was just phenomenal because
my gosh, those people.
The detail that you could see, that people and hours spent into making these costumes, I was just, my mind was blown because I was like, bro, I'm broke. I don't have the
the commitment. I just started doing sewing for the first time, and I made my first cosplay and I took it to a con, and it was like such a simple costume. So seeing all these cosplayers with these amazing suits of armor and like LEDs and like robotic parts that move, I have so much more respect than I ever did, and I had a lot of respect for them before. But yeah, even just sewing, like I sewed like a really simple dress. I did Imogen from Critical Role, if anyone is watching Critical Role, and yeah, it was such a simple costume, but it took me a couple of months to make it, kind of thing.
But that's your baby. That's your commitment. Yes. Congrats, babe. That's so good, though. Picking up a new skill. Now, look, see, another hat. You're a seamstress.
Yeah.
Seamstress. There you go.
Yeah. I got nominated for Cosplayer of the Year for the Gamer Awards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Don't get too excited, but keep your fingers crossed. Everybody vote for me. Voting's still open.
Be sure to post it in the group chat.
Like,
what
did you say?
Post it in the group chat so we can see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's on my Instagram too. Like I'll put cosplays as I'm making them. But the thing that got me into cosplay was you can do different levels of cosplay. Like a lot of people get really in awe of like the higher level stuff. But my favorite type of cosplay is when a new game has come out and they're just releasing the characters and they wear pretty normal clothes and you get like somewhere within the realm of the characters. That's the most fun part of cosplay for me, is like looking kind of like the character, but not like, getting as close as you can. And you're like, oh, your audience will be like, oh yeah, I can see that,
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I'll do male role play a lot, but I'll just be like the female version. I end up being Bruce Willis all the time, and and it still works. And I don't wear a bald cap, and they still get like who I am and what's happening and stuff. So.
I like that.
That's really good.
Yeah, he's in a lot of action movies. I didn't realize until I started doing like more like movie cosplay, like how many movies like he's in, or like bald guys in general, because I don't have a bald cap too, so I just pull my hair back.
You don't have a bald cap?
I know my hair is really short right now for how long it usually, believe it or not, it's so bald caps don't they don't look real even when I do wear it. So.
Mine's really short at the moment too. It's just really short.
Yeah.
Hello, Rapunzel. Hello.
But fitting this under a wig cap is hell. I have to wear like 5 wig caps. I'm considering just shaving off, making it into a wig, and then just wearing the wig. Easy.
Yeah.
And then you switch it out and start dyeing it.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I can't really get into cosplay too much, because like the locks, they're really long as well, but then they're also really thick. And then like trying to get them under a wig is like hell. But I think that's kind of why I've like opted in for like fantasy cosplay type things, because I just need ears, and then I make like cool headdresses. I like make like really funky headdresses, and then I body paint, and I do like that type of like cosplay. I love it so much. So satisfying.
I'm very inspired. I really want to do a really good Garnet cosplay. That's my
Is that from Steven Universe?
Yes.
Oh!
I love Garnet.
I love
so
it
much. So that would be my ideal like cosplay if I was to do the next one.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Right. Yeah.
I'd love to do cosplay, but I think I just don't. I don't know. I don't want to. I want to do certain anime characters, but I feel like a lot of them are just one very small body type. So I'm like, I don't fit that. And then I go into this thing where I'm like so OCD, where I'm like, I don't want to do that character because I don't want to change anybody's opinion on it or think, okay, you're not doing that right, whatever,
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so I'll try and look for ones that are the same body type as me, and I feel like that's just, there's only so
no, tell that boy to shut up.
Tell that boy.
Yeah.
I was so nervous going to my first convention, but like everyone's so nice. Like there's people of all shapes and sizes, all different levels of costumes as well, like professional cosplayers down to someone who's just wearing the same colors. And I was really nervous when I went to my first con in cosplay because I was a lot bigger than I used to be. Like after lockdown, I changed shape a bit. I was a bit curvier, and I was really self-conscious because I was in like a pair of shorts. But everyone is just so nice, and it's an amazing feeling having someone come up to you and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so and so. I love your costume," and people will just do that, and it's the best feeling. So go for it. Cosplay is for everyone.
That's really sweet.
Everyone.
Yeah. Well, and everyone's always being way harder on themselves than they need to be. Like whatever eye you're looking at yourself with, like everyone else in the world is looking at you with kinder eyes. I promise.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Like, and it's all fantasy. You can pad yourself wherever you need to make yourself in the right, you know, shape and size you want to be. Like you can, like it's all fake. So
and it's creative too. So you can just create you as that as well. You know, like in your own way.
That's sweet. That's a good idea, actually.
Queenie's gonna be the next cosplayer. You know,
right?
Cosplay strange. Making my own costume. Who's the next one? Actually, because it's getting quite late, what we'll do is we have a couple of questions. One of them is to everybody. Two are to, because I don't want to keep you guys too long. Just in case anybody has to jump off. Because
is anyone holding in a pee? Because we have been here for a while.
If you need to go for a toilet break.
I'm like, why is no one peeing? Like, I've been seeing you drink water and no one's moved. I'm like, okay.
We are streamers, babe. We are streamers. We have a streamer bladder.
Iron bladder. Yeah, you'll have to repeat the questions when I'm back, though, if that's okay. But BRB.
That's fine. Yeah, go ahead. Anybody needs to go. Yeah, go ahead. I have two questions to two different people direct. So, Dawn. Did you go to, this is from Riley, did you go to uni for game design? And if so, how was it? He's doing tech design in college at the moment, so he's looking to know.
Oh, I did go to uni. I went to uni for 3 years. I did a Bachelor of Arts in games design. My degree was very broad. So we did coding, art, history of games, community management. Like it was everything games industry, but mostly with a focus on hard design. So like number balancing and games design documents, working in a team, methods of project development and all of that kind of stuff. I'd honestly have a serious think about what exactly you want to do in industry. Obviously, I never went into industry, so I feel like a bit of a fraud being like, this is exactly what you do. I know exactly what to do because I decided to go into streaming instead. But obviously with jobs like being a games designer, it's quite hard to get into. It's sort of like trying to go and work in film and be in a director role because there's so many fewer games designers than any other role in a company. And you will find it difficult to get into like junior games designer and then like work your way up from there. From what I've heard from friends who went into games design, honestly, I would say if you have the skills for it and if you are good at coding and you're good at the technical side of it, go into computer science and go into the technical side of it would be my advice because there are so many doors that open. There's so many different roles that involve hard coding skills rather than just being like, I'm creative. I come up with ideas. I'm the ideas guy because a company can only have so many ideas guys and it's not really a role that exists. But I really liked my degree because I got to sort of sample a few different things and that sort of led me more in the creative direction rather than the kind of technical direction. It's something that I still use even being a streamer, like coding things for stream and sort of like gamifying my streams when I have events on, you know, like sub goals and things and kind of fun challenges and getting community involved. So I like to think I haven't wasted it entirely and I can kind of see things from a developer's perspective, especially when it comes to sponsored streams. And I'm kind of advertising a game and I see, oh, what would they want me to show off? What kind of features would I want to show off if this was my game? But yeah, I guess like look at industry roles, see what you want to do. Always go for a course that has people teaching who have been in the industry and preferably who have been in the industry in like the last 3 years. If they just have, if they have lecturers and professors who like haven't been in industry for like maybe like 10 years and they're just teaching theory, maybe not so much. There is also the whole academic side of gaming, which I don't think people are very aware of, but like studying games, doing research on games and the people that play games, and that's a whole thing. But yeah, very long-winded, but basically look into the roles that are actually out there. Go for the Cody side if you can. I would say computer science is the way to go, but yeah.
Yeah, really good advice. And anybody here who's going into marketing, I swear to God, if you send me an email about a sponsor that is not paid work, you're getting blocked, all right? I'm just saying. But if you're doing marketing, please, 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 I know your lecturers are giving you outdated information, but if you can find somebody, if you're going into the gaming side of marketing, try and find somebody who's actually been in the industry, even as a mentor, because they are a lot more informative. Even just asking streamers outright while we're here, because that is a big pet peeve of mine for university. I find that quite often they definitely miss the mark on that. So if you're listening, marketers, you know, ask us, all right? Because it's the wrong advice you're giving out. The next question, right, is the Soma. What gave you the idea of the froggy?
Oh, he made himself, I'm pretty sure. I know. I don't know. I've always done voices. So gosh, I don't know. I feel like I was just possessed one day and just started talking, and then, you know, I always wanted a little green, because like I actually had these made. This is like a plush that I had made by like a professional, and I worked with a woman who like designed him, and he's supposed to look like a little like an alien, like a little green alien kind of thing, but he kind of looks like a frog, so that's how he got his name Froggy. So
I would die for him.
Yeah, he just started talking to me one day and just hasn't stopped. So I mean,
has he got sparkles on his head?
Yeah, this one, they all have different personalities and they're like different ways, but this one's being really like fancy because
I love him.
You know, the one behind me is wearing like a mask because it's our PJ stream. He's like on some pillows and stuff, and you know. But, yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah, but he was like our mascot for a little while on my channel, and then he just got too big for me and then started his own channel even. So yeah, he's really famous on his planet, like on the Froggy planet, super famous. So pretty much everything that comes out media wise in the US is just a ripoff of something he's already come up with.
I love that.
Yeah.
Froggy's a it girl, and I love it.
He's my inspiration.
Yeah.
So could you actually choose a frog emotes? So you, Soma, have frog emotes?
I've got
Pixie.
I've got frog emotes. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the frog. I was like, should I go get, like, I have a frog. My little frog. But he doesn't have a name. Like, he doesn't ever show on stream. But like, he has a little satchel and a little shirt. And yeah, I like frogs. Yeah. Do you know like the spiritual symbolism of a frog? It's for like it's for like sensitives who they're like very creative, and when they pour themselves they like pour themselves into stuff.
Oh, that's both of you guys.
Like very like fixated, and but then sometimes they do need to remember to pull away. Like frog people, like frog types people. They forget to self-care though. They forget to self-care. Imagine like a frog that's like goes out of water for too long. So they need to remember to like come back in and like replenish and sometimes learn to not like pour themselves out so much.
I feel like I just got red. I'm like,
yeah.
That's like, I was just saying that's definitely you.
People. Roast. It's that I am also a frog. I didn't know that about frogs, but I have like a frog tattoo. It's like a weird frog.
Whoa.
And
Celestial frog.
Wow.
yeah, it's I wish I could like show it better, but my camera's a bit sucky. But yeah, I didn't know that about frog people, and I got that. I was like, I've always just really liked frogs, and it turns out like I read this book. It's like Animal Spirits or some Animal Spirits by Kim Kranz, and they got a whole page about the frog, and I was like, oh right, okay. So all this time I was getting read the filth by my like natural attraction to frogs. Not like attraction, like you know what I mean.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. Shh, don't tell them. Yeah.
So the next question is actually a general one, by the way, to everybody. So we'll start with Twiggy then. Twiggy sitting there
Yes.
quietly.
Well.
So, has anyone thought about doing in real life streams? So, Twiggy, have you ever thought about one? Like just doing in real life of anything?
I prefer not going outside, so
Me too.
no.
I feel you on that.
I go outside to walk my dog, and that's about it. So no, I have not thought about doing IRL streams.
Yeah, I understand about the outside world. It sucks. I agree. Anybody else or anybody does any in real life streams already?
Outside. Do you know what? I did my first one at TwitchCon. So I did the activation of StockX at their booth, and so it was really interesting to kind of like have the backpack, and then you had the kind of like the camera out, and then the chat on the arm. So it was an interesting experience because you got to, I guess, interact with everyone. It was actually no, it was overwhelming. Never mind.
It is
it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My brain can just about deal with reading chat, but reading chat and talking to people IRL. I needed to work up to that slowly.
Yeah. I used to do it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Like when I first started doing it, I only had my phone, and this was also like kind of towards the beginnings of Twitch, so nobody knew what I was doing, so they were just like, oh, weird lady, and they'd leave me alone. Like, I think the biggest thing is you have to be willing to have like a bunch of people staring at you and continue like you don't care. That's like once you get over that, it's way easier. So, but my chat would always be like trying to get me to talk to men, like random men. Like I'd be walking around a mall or something, and they'd be like, go talk to that man. And then as soon as the man is talking to me, they're like, we hate him. Go talk to him. Go
in this
away.
conversation, it's like, well,
I'm talking to him. Yeah.
I've played with IRL streams before, and we did like, so we did one for like a birthday, and the stream was, so we had like a stream backpack, and it was like a proper like little, the live view one and everything. It's really good. I've still got it. And we went out drinking in Leeds just before, so it was just in the middle when like COVID opened up for a bit, before everything was about to shut down again. And we went out and we tried to take chat to karaoke, and we were doing shots. Like it was pretty messy. It was pretty funny. I have some on my like raid video, I have some clips of that night. It was really fun. And then I wanted to get into taking people into like IRL spaces like around the UK. And I don't know why I really like didn't think, but I was like, oh, like we'll take them to some caves. There is no internet signal in caves. Why did I think that was a good idea? Because I'm not very good with like IRL interactions and being like, I'm just not that confident. I'm one day maybe, you know, but so like I'm more like a sightseer. But we did like a little IRL stream a few days ago, and we ended up finding an organic natural burial ground where people get to like be decomposed like naturally and all this stuff. So we like took a walk around that, and it was we just literally stumbled on it. But I'd love to do it more. I found this book called 650 Magical Sites in Britain, and it has like all of these like fairy glens and portals and dragon keeps and all these like ancient mythological sites, mythology, like creation stories, right? And like Merlin tales, and like these places are like in Britain. And I wanted to do backpack streaming for that, but I did a tarot card reading on it, and they were like, it's a good idea, but it's not, you know, it can be a hobby, you know, if I'm gonna go there anyway, then I might do it, but it's not like, but yeah, IRL streaming's fun. It is fun, but yeah, you're right about people looking at you and like being like, and sometimes I couldn't deal with that. Like I literally dropped out of high school when I was 15 because I was like really anxious, and like sometimes I think I come off like I'm confident, but I'm like, no, I'm actually not. It's just awkward.
I feel that, babes. I feel
yeah.
It's that beggar energy.
Mm-hmm. So based on the ones we've done so far, we've done like Gamescom, TwitchCon, and like
have you streamed those? Did you backpack stream them when you were there? Oh, that's so cool.
It was like phone streams. Just did a phone one. That's it. Didn't even do a backpack because I was like, I'm not investing the time into this if I don't know if it even works. So
That's true. They
did
cost
that.
a lot of money and they're a
Too
lot to
much.
set up like properly.
Yeah, there are a lot. Apparently, like one of my mods looked into it and he says I find a cheaper way to do it. So he's gonna like send me that the next time I want to do it. But I find like, so obviously it's me and Blue's normally with me sometimes. But I have found something interesting where, so the 2 times Simon has left me, or Blue has left me, like literally went to the toilet or whatever, I have been surrounded by like kids that have came up to me or like other people. And I'm like, okay, all right, I see how it is. So I think that's because he's so like tall. They're like, okay, I won't approach. Like they won't go near.
Yeah.
As soon as he goes, I get surrounded, and I don't know if it's like what it is or whatever. They leave eventually when they're but it's a weird situation. I think like for people maybe who have like anxiety or anything like that can be a bit too much. So the best thing I would say as like advice for in real life is that have somebody who's big, have somebody who's very big beside you.
Was there a question of like how to protect yourself when IRL streaming? Like I don't think I caught like.
So it was just like, would you do it? And like, has anyone done it basically?
Oh, okay, but okay, I was wondering like the advice. I was like, that's good advice. I was like, wait, was there a question? I didn't know this was a
No,
yeah,
it's
no,
just
that's
it.
good advice.
That's
I was like,
just-
yeah, it's good. Listen,
Because everybody, it's the easiest thing. It's probably the easiest stream to do for like phone wise if you have a good phone.
yeah,
But if you're
Yeah.
properly doing it and you're like putting money into it, then it's like a backpack. But
yeah. I think sometimes
yeah.
some moments are best to just like for you to just enjoy as a person and not like complicate it, Like, but if it's a passion and something you're interested in doing, there's Twitch they've actually updated the phone app recently, so you can stream a lot more easily on it and via your mobile phone, and you can access like a whole interface now and like
Yes.
like the chat and stuff like that. But yeah, I bet people don't even think about the IRL like consequences of like if you're a female and like people coming up to you and trying to interact with you and stuff like that. Like it's and like people reacting to sometimes like thinking they're being recorded or having pictures taken of them and stuff. Like I don't know, I've seen stuff on streams and like YouTube and stuff before of like people negatively responding to people doing like a IRL stream. So it's interesting.
I think it's some people think it depends who you speak to, right? But it's like depending on the country, there's like laws on what you can record. But you're allowed to record anybody in public, and public spaces are still businesses and stuff like that and walking around. So yeah, things like that. Oh, I'll move on to the next question, and then I think we will we got 2 more and that's it. So I know you have to wrap up. But one for Twiggy in particular is, do you play the guitar, and if so, what kind of music?
I used to. There's a guitar there, and there's also a ukulele up there on the shelf. I used to play the guitar, ukulele, and bass. I played bass for a little bit in a band. I played the guitar and sang in a rock band at some point. I have not played for many, many, many years. I keep them because I don't want to get rid of them, and that's about it.
Hey, they're memories at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
The last question.
Talented.
We'll get through this quickly, because again, it is getting quite late. We got given front pages at a very later date than what I expected, but Twitch, these things happen. So, do you have any pets, and how do you deal with them during stream? And I know, Danny, you've just got a little one. Right?
Fendi. No. Would you like to say hi?
Yes!
She's gonna yell at... Oh no, she's awake. She is fine. Hi, babes. You want to come say hi?
Oh, we're gonna see a cute puppy.
Aww.
Oh,
baby.
So
Oh
this
my
is
God.
Fendi.
Oh,
She is so sleepy. She is really like not with it.
Oh.
Oh, I love her
Yeah,
so
she's
much.
so tired. So she's about to do. She's just 6 months. And streaming is fine because she has a bed like right by my door, so she'll just kind of watch me whilst I'm streaming. But then we'll sometimes also go and get a toy. Go and like grab a toy and then sit at the gate and be like, "Mum, play, play." But yeah, she's a good girl.
Aww.
This is ours. This
Oh, I
Alfie,
love them
you
so
smell
much.
nice. You've had a bath. Yeah.
Alfie boy.
This
He's
is
so cute.
He's not too fussed unless there's food though. So there's
Yes, very food motivated, this one as well.
I don't know if you can hear, but if you're hearing little chirrups and meows, that's because she literally just started meowing.
Oh, let's
She knows. But I've got a new cat. We got her 3 weeks ago. Her name is Moogle. She was an adopted cat. She used to be a stray, but now she's living a life of luxury. Should be. She's taking over my stream. This is Cat Cam. She's always on my desk because she sleeps on my desk over my keyboard. So I was trying to play Final Fantasy today, and I could not move the mouse because she had her toe beans on the mouse. So you can't move a cat. It's a crime to move a cat.
No, you can't. It's the law.
We played around the cat. Lucky.
He wants a treat.
I have a dog too, but I would show him off. But he spends the weekends with my ex. We share custody.
You could co-parenting a pet.
Co-parenting our dog.
Oh.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
I recently got a new kitten about a week ago, less than a week ago, called Barry. And he's a little black cat. And he's so sweet, but he's still like learning to kind of integrate into the house. But he has been in my room, but he's not chilling off yet. He's still quite young, and he's like still new, so he's just like adjusting. But it's so nice to have a pet because I grew up with them, and I haven't had a cat for 2 years, which is a streak. It's like a long streak to not have a pet for me. Oh, I can see. Is it a she dog?
My kitty.
She? Yeah, because like, we can see them.
I have a void floof as well, so it's just like a little shadow with little eyes.
I can see the void floof.
The day after we got her, I thought she'd managed to escape the house because she's like, and I was looking everywhere, and I looked under the bed, I looked in the wardrobe, and then eventually I shook some treats and she came out, but I could just see these little eyes opening, and in the blackness, she was sitting on top of like black hoodie underneath the bed, and you just could not see her. Yeah, being a black cat owner, Pixie, it's
it's gotten its adventures.
She's very spoiled. That's her cat tree.
I love that.
She's spoiled.
Twiggy, yours is Link, is that it? In chat, because everybody's putting him in.
I have a lot of Link emotes. I have a picture of him, so I can't show him off. Show a picture.
Oh, you're so cute.
That little blip.
He's a good boy.
Oh, that's so sweet. So that is actually going to. Oh, Soma, do you have any?
Oh, just Froggy. I'm more his pet though. He's got like things under control, and I'm just walking around like a cat on the ship. So
vet skills are very low.
Yeah.
So that is actually then the end of the podcast. Actually ending on a positive, showing off any pets that we have. That was a great way to wrap up, guys. If you haven't followed already, everybody from the podcast, we've had amazing guests on for the fourth one. Anything you guys want to say or any recommendations, totally welcome to. This is actually, I took a lot of feedback from the last podcast I did. Thank you for all that, guys. I'm not going to do the forum this time because I have so much to act upon from the last one, but I appreciate everybody for being here, and also the amazing guests that I have. Generally absolutely amazing content creators. I've followed a lot of these guys for a very long time and met some of them in real life, so if you haven't, go and follow every single one of them. Also, if anybody wants to do like their own outro, I totally welcome it. If you want to say where you can be found, Dawn, you want to go first, and where they can find you on all your socials, I'll link them out whenever I can as well.
Yeah, you can find me pretty much everywhere as Dawn Whisper, apart from TikTok, where I'm Dawn Whisper _. I'm gonna murder the person who stole my username. But you can find me everywhere on YouTube as well as Dawn Whisper. And yeah, come say hi sometime. I don't bite too much.
Hey, perfect. Twiggy, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, it's Twiggy on. I usually just use Twitch and Twitter. I stream 5 days a week, starting at the same time as this podcast started. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna link you in as well. So I hope you don't mind because I'm putting these into a chat at the same time. Probably that's for next time. Actually, you do exclamation mark Twiggy and exclamation mark Dawn and everything like that, like individually. That'll be. Do you know what? That is, in hindsight, I feel like that's a mistake. But yeah, Soma, would you like to go ahead where they can find you?
On Instagram, I'm Soma.Green. Any other one is Catfish. And then everywhere else, I've gotten my name, SomaGreen, except for Twitter, because I joined that after I was a Twitch streamer. So I'm the SomaGreen on there. So everywhere you can find me, SomaGreen. Google me, I'll come up everywhere. SomaGreen.
Hell yeah. And of course, Pixie, go ahead.
Yeah, on every other platform, I'm the PiscesPixie. That's just because PiscesPixie was taken. But yeah, I do like YouTube videos and like pick a cards and like tarot readings and stuff like that on those platforms. And on Twitch, it's just PiscesPixie.
Hell yes. Perfect. And of course, go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, you can find me on Ebonix on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube, and then Ebonix Sims on TikTok and Instagram. I've been fighting Ebonix on Instagram for years, but he remains to be Burger Boy. It just doesn't. That's another story. But he can be Burger Boy.
Thank you so much, guys. Honestly, make sure you give
thank
everybody a
you.
follow. Every single person here, you guys, these are all amazing. Thanks so much for sharing your experiences. And to be honest, it was really nice. You know what? I like having the open podcast. I like having it cozy and comfy. And I hope you enjoyed being here. And hopefully you don't mind coming on again sometime in the future. I only do it once a month, so it's not very often I do them. But I've enjoyed every single one so far, and it's something different and interesting. And I don't want to take things too seriously. I think you guys would probably agree. I like it being positive. So
Yeah, this was fun. This was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for
It was
having
really
us.
nice meeting
Yeah.
everyone as well.
Thanks so
It really
much.
has been.
Yeah.
The format of this has been really nice, just really low pressure. It's been really
Yeah,
nice. Thank
it's
you.
good.
that was the whole plan.
Beautiful flow.
I
Beautiful.
think it's nice because if you have like a couple people who like talking, a lot of people who sit quietly, it's totally like a open atmosphere. You don't have to feel pressure to talk, or you don't have to feel pressure to talk too much type of thing, or you know,
Yeah.
under talk. I think that's nice feeling. But a big shout out to Twitch and Twitch Women's Alliance as well, because they sort of organized this. So appreciate it, guys. Always good to see something different on FIFA on that front page. So it's really nice.
Let's go.
What do you mean? We weren't
Today.
playing FIFA? I was playing FIFA.
All this whole time.
We're playing Madden.
Oh, guys, thank you for
All right.
joining, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
care,
Thank you,
everyone.